Chapter 332. Linwani looked at the unfilial kid, and a happy smile appeared on his face, but he quickly hid it. Shortly after, he was solemn and a little worried. This unfilial kid had gone overboard. It seemed like it was fun, but the Alliance really remembered Fan, especially since he was remembered by one of the strongest 9-star generals in history, Zhu Daoshan. From now on, it would be tough for him to have a peaceful life. Old Master, young Master is really outstanding. He caused a lot of problems for the Alliance today. Old Wu said, outstanding, but he nearly got himself killed. He doesn't do proper things, and just does such evil things. He should just focus on cultivating. Linwani was unhappy. Old Wu smiled. Young Master was right. Old Master didn't want to speak the truth, but he had no choice. Old Master was just like that. Moreover, he noticed that young Master's cultivation seemed to have become stronger. Although he didn't know the exact situation, the feeling that young Master gave him was much stronger than before. Alliance main camp. When Zhu Daoshan and the others returned, the stench was really disgusting. When people entered and didn't touch anything, it felt like they had fallen into a pit of sh*t. The scene was really chaotic. Many Alliance members were crying and crying like they had suffered an unforgettable humiliation. Zhu Daoshan's face was cold as he questioned an 8-star general. Didn't I tell you to clean up? What is going on now? General, you can't blame us for this. They have all broken down and aren't listening to orders. The 8-star general's face was bitter and he was about to cry. His nose was suffocating, and apart from the stench, he couldn't smell anything else. It was just too intense. If he hadn't personally witnessed it, he wouldn't have dared to believe it. Drag those people away and find someone who is still sane to clean them up. Go, Zhu Daoshan said. He didn't expect that they wouldn't be able to do such a small thing. This was why generals would always be generals, and they wouldn't be able to become 9-star generals. Yes, the general accepted the order. If they didn't act, the 9-star general would be furious, and the outcome would be catastrophic. Some of the more determined members of the Alliance became the main force. They didn't care about the loot on them and started to clean up the scene. At the same time, they received orders to drag away the guys who were wailing in the middle of the field. The two most ordinary members of the Alliance looked at each other. Seeing that the person in front of them should be a high-level researcher, they grabbed his legs without saying anything and dragged him outside. Who am I? Where am I? This is a sea of excrement. Save me. This member of the advanced research team seemed to have gone mad. He spoke in a language that no one else could understand, and no one knew what he was thinking. He felt so weak. However, these two ordinary members were expressionless and fearless. They were even secretly delighted. In the past, when he met these high-level researchers, he felt like he was inferior. But now, it was like they were dragging a dead dog. He was secretly delighted. Did you just get drenched in shit? Yes, it was just a drizzle. When I was young, I was playing with my friends and ran too quickly. I rushed into a pit, and it even reached my nose. If not for my mother jumping in to save me, I might have died. Then, I'm slightly better than you. But my family is poor. So when I was young, my dad and I collected these things to exchange for money. I was able to graduate from college because of this, so I didn't feel much about it. The two of them looked at one another. They didn't expect that they would have such an experience. Their relationship started to warm up. When the general saw how hardworking the two of them were, he felt much happier. Compared to others, these two kids were much more outstanding. Don't the two of you think that this is disgusting? The general appeared in front of them and asked. When the two of them saw the general, they were so emotional that they didn't know what to say. They looked at one another and said in unison, disgusting. Then, why didn't you resist? The general asked. The two of them said respectfully, everything is for the Alliance. This reply was perfect. Moreover, the two of them didn't say that they were familiar with it because they had dealt with shit in the past. Instead, they said it in a righteous manner. The general was satisfied. Very good. Once this matter is over, the two of you can report to me. Yes, General. The two of them were really pumped up. They didn't expect that their days of success would come just like that. General Gang Xiong's face was cold as he returned to his room to shower. The hot water couldn't wash away the smell on his body. He poured a full bottle of shower gel on his body and rubbed it really hard. But when he washed it away with water, it still smelled. Pa! Gang Xiong slapped the wall. He didn't use much strength, otherwise, the entire room would have collapsed. His eyes turned red and green veins popped up all over his body. Kid, one day I will kill you. Who said that iron men didn't cry? It was just that they weren't hurt yet. But now, they were hurt and tears flowed down his cheeks. Thank you. Zhu Daoshan stood with his arms behind his back. His expression was cold. The situation outside was really complicated. Looking at the current situation, it was just too tough to clear out the main camp. Also, this matter had a huge impact on those members. General, the Alliance headquarters is looking for you. Zhu Daoshan nodded and wanted to report the situation here. At the same time, the appearance of City's Lin Wani's son meant that the Alliance was in control of the situation. The next day, Maigu City. Pata. Mao Shintai's expression was really ugly. Damn, Monster Emperor, that jerk. Why? General Xue Du frowned and asked. Did Monster Emperor go back on his word? No. Mao Shintai passed the news from the Alliance headquarters to Xue Du. Take a look. Doesn't this person look familiar? Monster Emperor spoiled our plans. Great General Xue Du's calm expression gradually changed as he read the message. It is him. He recognized him. Right, it is him, Lin Wani's son. If we captured him, then Lin Wani would have been killed by us. Mao Shintai regretted it. Why didn't he react then? Monster Emperor, that jerk. General Xue Du was furious. Lin Wani was an obstacle to them entering the rich land. If they could wipe him out, then everything would become much easier. The current situation wasn't clear. The Alliance broke through Maigu City and did have the advantage. But if they gathered all the troops to Maigu City and started to push forward, Lin Wani would bring people over and enter the Alliance headquarters. The casualties they would cause wouldn't be small. So, to the Alliance, the best way was to take down Lin Wani. Suddenly, General Xue Du frowned. Do you think that Monster Emperor did it on purpose? He knew that he was Lin Wani's son, which was why he took the risk to save him. Monster Emperor actually allied with Lin Wani and was just pretending? Mao Shintai thought about it. The possibility isn't high. Don't forget that Monster Emperor has blood on his hands. If he was on Lin Wani's side, he wouldn't have killed so many people. No, I think that it is possible. No matter which side Monster Emperor is on, he is a lunatic. There are some things that others can't do, but he can. General Xue Du started to suspect Monster Emperor. That makes sense. Be careful in the future and don't trust him. Let's see what he wants. Mao Shintai felt that General Xue Du's words made sense. City Alliance main camp. Zhu Daoshan frowned and listened to his subordinate's report. He started to face the consequences of what happened yesterday. How many people want to leave? Right, there were Alliance members who wanted to leave this place. Many. Some experienced yesterday's events, and their minds have completely collapsed. They are muddle-headed, as if they have lost their souls. The man who reported the situation was thin and wore glasses. Under the lenses, his eyes were very deep. General, these researchers don't have high cultivation and their willpower is weak. After the bug in sh*T rain matter, their willpower has been destroyed. Zhu Daoshan kept silent for a long while. I didn't expect that we would underestimate the natives. I thought that it was just a disgusting method. But who knew that there would be such consequences? Is there anything else? The guy said, yes, many students have requested to return home. Some said that something happened at home, and some brought their holidays forward to leave this place. Pa! Zhu Daoshan smacked the table in rage and then clenched his fists. He gritted his teeth. Which college are they from? Can't they take a bit of difficulty? Did they forget the vow they made to fight for the Alliance? The guy in glasses said, General, this is just one of them. Who knows who sent this to the Alliance platform? The headquarters blocked it, but it was too late. The news is already spread out. The news from the headquarters is that many people are protesting. At the same time, they're saying that General. Speak. Zhu Daoshan's expression was really ugly. For such a thing to happen, he would definitely be questioned. They said that General's ability is limited and you aren't able to take charge here. They hope that the Alliance headquarters can persuade you to send someone else. The guy in glasses lowered his head. He had a deep understanding of what happened here, and it wasn't something that normal people could take. The scenes yesterday were just too shocking. Even after a full day of cleaning, this place was still filled with a disgusting stench. No one went to the empty space outside. Everyone hid in their rooms and didn't dare to come out. They were afraid that something terrifying would fall from the sky. Zhu Daoxin took in a deep breath and calmed himself down. He couldn't be angry because of this. That was true. The Alliance had been conned by City, and it was by a kid who hadn't even grown up yet. What a humiliation. General, actually we can give them a taste of their own medicine. Since the natives are doing that, why don't we try? The guy in glasses said. Zhu Daoxin stared at him until he lowered his head and didn't dare to look at Zhu Daoxin. A long while later, Zhu Daoxin said coldly, "Do you want to start a sh*T war between the Alliance and the natives? After dozens of years, hundreds of years, it will be recorded in history. Will I, the strongest general of the Alliance, play sh*T with the natives?" General, please calm down. I didn't think it through. The guy lowered his head and admitted his mistake. That was indeed the case. The other party was shameless, but the Alliance couldn't be either. Especially since he was the strongest general of the Alliance. Zhu Daoxin waved his hand. You can leave. Let whoever wants to leave. Pick more people from the Alliance headquarters. Those who want to leave, remove them from their original positions. Those who quit schools and those who do research will be locked up and treated as traitors. Yes, General, the guy in glasses replied. He wanted to make an example and let all the Alliance members who attacked the border know what the consequences of backing out was. But truthfully, he felt that using the same method to deal with Lin Fan was effective. But since the general didn't agree, then there was nothing he could do. There was nothing he could do. Liang Yichu's eyes opened wide. We learned that Brother Lin used sh*T to teach the Alliance a lesson. He was totally stunned. How could he even think of such a method? He even made an Alliance general covered in sh*T to charge over in exasperation and then leave. Just what kind of operation was this? That was just too terrifying. He had never thought that such an inconspicuous thing could actually have such great destructive power. In City, the news spread. Young Master Lin used sh*T to cause the Alliance to collapse. At the same time, he doused General Gang Xiong in sh*T. Such a thing caused a huge uproar. The people who stayed in the city weren't strong and were basically below God Essence Realm. Of course, there were God Essence Realm, but there weren't many of them. They stayed here to be wary of whether or not there was an enemy attack. If there was, they would inform them right away. Oh my God, doesn't that mean that we have a part of the credit too? Right, young Master Lin said that, and said that it was all our credit. Amazing, this is just too amazing. I knew it. At the start, I thought that the Liang family was just cleaning up that place to make the environment better. Who knew that there would be such a use for it? Unfortunately, I wasn't there and didn't manage to see those scenes. The people in City discussed excitedly. They were all really interested in this matter. Who knew which talent led the way to start a sh*T trend in City, like they wanted to contribute to the fight against the Alliance? Some people drank cold water and then hot water to make their stomachs hurt. Some people were more vicious. They directly ate Croton. That day, City became smelly. There were even some puffing sounds. There were long queues at the few toilets. Some of them had to queue several times a day, causing many of them to smile as they entered the toilet. Then, their faces were ashen white as they held onto the wall and exited. But they were complacent and proud of themselves. They were already satisfied that they were able to contribute to the fight against the Alliance. When Lin Fan learned of the news, he was totally stunned. Oh my God, what were they thinking? That was just too sick in the head. He didn't dare to believe it. He even wanted to tell them to stop. Don't come anymore. That move wouldn't work. But he knew that passion wasn't something that could be settled with just a few words. Since that was the case, then he could only let them continue to be crazy. Hayes, life is sometimes lonely. Lin Fan laid on the chair and looked at the Alliance main camp. Even from so far away, he could smell it, but he wouldn't look down on it. That was because they were still there and hadn't left. Look at the rage points. There weren't many, just around 50,000. It was still too little, so little that it was really pitiful. But this wasn't much. When the next war erupted, it would be time for him to collect rage points. A few days later. During these few days, there were battles at the other border cities. Fengyue City's battle was the most intense. Xiao Dao was a terrifying expert, and naturally, he was really calm when he was in charge of Fengyue City. But the alliance wasn't simple either. The 9-star generals they sent were all more vicious than the last. Swordhead also met his enemy. Maybe he shouldn't have called him his enemy. To suppress Swordhead, the alliance specially sent a sword-using general. His understanding of the sword was no weaker than Swordhead's. To the alliance, the natives of the rich land were much stronger than them. Unfortunately, the natives of the rich land weren't united, and the infighting was fierce. If they could be united, then the alliance wouldn't be able to do anything. At the start, Swordhead didn't pay much attention to the alliance's swordpath general. But slowly, as the battle went on, he realized that his understanding of the sword was unique, and it wasn't weaker than his. In the end, Swordhead released the massacring swordpath. That day, be it the alliance or Fengyue City experts, they all felt a terrifying killing intent cover the sky. Swordhead who released, it wasn't the Swordhead of the past. Although he was still rational, he was really murderous. His methods were really vicious, and when he slashed, blood would definitely be seen. At that time, Xiao Dao's face turned ashen white. He was afraid that Swordhead would go mad and that it would be an unimaginable disaster for Fengyue City. But luckily, Swordhead suppressed his madness and became rational. In the end, he forced back the alliance's attacks, and they were able to take a breather. King Wudong entered the 3 fortresses. Lu Xian learned that during this period of time, King Wudong often woke up at night and found it hard to sleep. The maids thought that there was something wrong with his body. But Lu Xian smiled calmly, as if everything was in the palm of his hand. He definitely wouldn't be able to sleep. Entering 3 fortresses was a joyous matter. If he was King Wudong, he definitely wouldn't be able to sleep either. But what he didn't know was that it wasn't because of that King Wudong couldn't sleep. It was because he really didn't know what to do next. His past experiences couldn't help him at all. The alliance's cooperation brought him onto a path that he couldn't turn back from. Brother, why don't we just forget it and let me go back? I'm under a lot of pressure. King Wudong teared up. He felt like he wasn't faking it and that he was being forced to. What he was most afraid of was the alliance envoy coming. That was because he didn't know how to reply. Or did he really have to turn it into reality and make the alliance trust him so that he could walk step by step into the abyss and sacrifice himself for the greater good? He wasn't sure. He didn't want that to happen either. What was his brother thinking? He found it hard to guess and felt that something wasn't right. What King Wudong didn't dare to believe was that during this period of time, many sects came to join them. Although they were small and mid-sized sects, they made him realize that the alliance wasn't weak at all. Maybe what appeared now was just the tip of the iceberg. The true terror was still hidden in the darkness. Lin Fan laid there leisurely and had nothing to do. The alliance didn't attack, and that made his life a little lost. He had been thinking about how to play with the alliance. But what happened recently definitely made the alliance wary. It would be tough to succeed, so he decided to wait a little longer. However, he thought of an idea. Demons were in the forest outside of the city to help defend against the alliance. Although he couldn't provoke them too much, if he controlled himself and harassed them, maybe he would gain something different. Young master, suddenly, a familiar voice spread out from behind him. Lin Fan turned around, and when he noticed the 2 of them, he stood up and was stunned. Why are you all here? He didn't expect Gozi and the 9-headed bug to actually come. Gozi walked beside Lin Fan excitedly. Young master, after you left, I asked Feng Poliu where you went. He didn't say anything, so 9 Demon brought me here. Lin Fan thought that it was Feng Poliu who told him and wanted to say that he would teach him a lesson when he returned. Who knew that it was 9 Demon? He didn't tell 9 Demon where he was going. Moreover, 9 Demon didn't know where Yu City was. Could it be because of the smell? You bug. Lin Fan pointed at Nine Demon and wanted to say something, but he decided against it. Forget it. Since you're back, then so be it. Without you by my side serving me, I am not used to it. Gozi smiled happily. He had gained young master's recognition. Nine Demon's body was a little huge, but luckily, the city walls were wide enough. Its 9 heads moved around happily. In the distance, Brother Wu, this looks familiar. Lin Wani asked. Old Wu said, Old Master, this is Insect Valley's 9 Demon. We saw its mother, and we were chased from south to north. If not for an expert saving us, we would have ended up in its stomach. Lin Wani frowned. I feel like things aren't right. The path this kid is taking is a little wild. If he attracts people from Insect Valley, Haze, what a headache, what a headache. Old Master, what is wrong with that? I told you that young Master went out and had good luck. Even we can't compare to him in the past. Old Wu smiled. Forget it, let him be. If Insect Valley really comes, then that is exactly what we want. If we bring trouble to them, they will be of great help. What is going on over at Old Sue's side? Are there no top sects helping? Lin Wani asked. Old Wu shook his head. No, there isn't any reply. Old Master, there is no need to think about it. Those who should have come are already here. Those who don't want to come were confirmed 20 years ago. They are all waiting for the situation to change. There might even be some sects that have come to an agreement with the Alliance. There was nothing wrong with his conjecture. Lin Wani sighed. He was a little tired. Why were they all so stupid? If the Alliance really entered this place, the top sects might be able to live a good life. But those mid-tier sects might not be able to. Old Master, Zhao family is not bad. They sent experts to the other cities. Old Wu said. Lin Wani said, can they not go? If they dare to have any thoughts about the imperial dynasty, they will be the first to be wiped out. Moreover, only they know where the dragon is. This is the promise that the imperial dynasty gave them, so they hope more than anyone else that the Alliance doesn't enter. P.S. Recommend a book, Many Skies Spoiler Group. If you're interested, you could take a look. It is written quite well. P.S. Thank you. Cigarettes are so tempting. Silver coins are the most auspicious. I am waiting for the rewards from the 4 elders. Chapter 333. After Go Zi returned, his life became much more comfortable. Lin Fan felt like he had become a lazy, rich family young master. Every day, he just laid on the chair and Go Zi would bring over fruits and desserts. He would then massage his shoulders and legs. It was a really comfortable life. Nine Demon's appetite was huge, so naturally, he couldn't let him eat as he pleased. He had no choice and could only use the special internal strength of the bug controlling technique to feed him. To Nine Demon, the special internal strength of the bug controlling technique was the most nutritious food. Young Master, the wind is strong here. Why don't we return to your city? Go Zi said. To be able to continue serving Young Master made him feel motivated. As for what the people on Marshall Path Mountain ate, that wasn't something he had to consider. No, I have to stay here. Lin Fan had to stay here in case the Alliance came. If he wasn't there, then he wouldn't have missed out on anything. It would have been a huge loss. The *T battle reached his expectations, but he didn't get any rage points. Those 9-star generals were really cunning and didn't say who did it, such that he only got rage points from 14 9-star generals. Too little. It didn't reach the standard at all. As long as the Alliance came, he would only ask one question. Had they recovered from the fear of the *T rain? East Forest. The forest was really dark. The branches of the giant trees covered the sky and covered all the light. This place became the most suitable place for demons to live. Demons didn't have a good impression of the people in Yu City, especially Lin Wani. That fellow who casually tore the contract wasn't human at all. Unfortunately, they had no choice. Lin Wani was too terrifying, and they weren't his match at all. Moreover, in Jiang City, they were beaten up badly. That fellow slashed, and they suffered heavy casualties. They were directly threatened to return to the East Forest. This was an insult to the demons, an insult that they couldn't forget. At that moment, the East Forest welcomed an uninvited guest. Young Master, why are we here? Go Zi asked. He knew what was here. They were all terrifying living beings. On the contrary, young Master's expression was really calm. It was obvious that he didn't care much about the living beings here. Lin Fan smiled. I have nothing to do, so I found someone to talk to. With me here, don't be too nervous. In the past, when the Een demons attacked Jiang City, Lin Fan felt like death was approaching. At that time, his strength wasn't that great, so the scene was a little awkward. But things are different now. He might not be very strong, but he would have no problem pushing his way through. 9 demon followed behind him, its 9 heads looking left and right. When its massive body walked into the forest, some of the trees were in the way, making 9 demon unhappy. It raised its foot and kicked down the trees. Swoosh! There was movement in the forest, as if something was hiding in the surroundings. The sound that came from it was terrifying. Een demons, come out. We haven't met for so long, and you don't recognize me? Lin Fan walked in and shouted at the same time. He didn't believe that the Een demons forgot about him. How could such deep feelings be forgotten just like that? Go Z followed beside young Master and was a little nervous. Een demons looked really vicious and a little scary. When he saw this, he was so nervous that he didn't know what to say. Young Master, I think it's better to keep a low profile. Go Z thought about it for a moment and said his thoughts. Young Master was just too arrogant. If he was an Een demon, he wouldn't be able to take it. Rage points plus 111. Rage points plus 111. He didn't see any Een demons, but rage points struck him. It seemed like the Een demons hiding in the darkness remembered who he was. Towards enemies, Een demons were hard to forget. A big Een demon whose personality changed after being abused by Lin Fan hid in the darkness and stared at Lin Fan in rage. It was this despicable human who had once hurt him severely. However, he didn't dare to come out. He was afraid that something terrifying would happen once more. East Forest Central Region. Een demons gathered over. King, the fellow who appeared in Jiang City, is here. There was nothing above a stone throne. After the Een demons said that, a thick mist spread out and formed into a person. The sleeping Een demon king appeared. The female Een demon king's face was really ugly. They were bullied by Lin Wani and left the East Forest to settle near Jiang City. They thought that they could crazily search for food there, but they didn't expect that they would be slashed by an expert and be threatened, returning to the East Forest. Why did it feel like there were people who were bullied? Damn fellow, does he really think that the Een demon race is easy to bully? The Een demon king was furious. She clenched her fists, but in the depths of her heart, there was a voice reminding her. Your Een demon race is so easy to bully. I was wondering where they went, so they are all here. Lin Fan smiled and walked over. He didn't have any conflict with the Een demons. They were helping U City to block the alliance, so no matter what, they were allies. He had no choice. The alliance didn't come, so he couldn't just wait there and do nothing. Thinking about it, he had no choice but to find the Een demons to have a good chat. The increase in rage points was special. There was a limit to one use, but if they had enough time and calmed down, they could use it once more. Rage points plus 111. Rage points plus 222. The Een demons weren't strong, and it was a little disappointing. This Een demon looks familiar. Have you seen him before? Lin Fan pointed at a big Een demon and asked. To this big Een demon, he was really furious. Dog, did you forget what you did to me in the past? Very good. Even if you forgot, I didn't. I will always remember it in my heart. This big Een demon was tortured by Lin Fan until he was physically and mentally exhausted. His willpower was about to collapse, such that whenever he caught an alliance member, he would use the same method to torture them. It was like he was venting the rage in his heart. Rage points plus 666. Lin Fan smiled and looked around. The Een demons all stared at him aggressively. Their deep eyes shone with a cold intent, which was enough to show that they didn't like him. What are you doing here? The Een demon king said coldly. He was Lin Wani's son, so they hated him just like Lin Wani. I came back from Jiang City and heard that all of you were here, so I came to see my old friend. No matter what, we have dealt with each other before. Even if it wasn't good, it is all in the past, so why do I still remember it? Lin Fan's words were a little too much. He didn't remember, but the Een demons remembered it in their hearts. We don't welcome you here. The Demon King didn't have a good impression of Lin Fan. She didn't even have a good impression of everyone in Yu City. Lin Fan said helplessly, "There is no need to be like this, right? We are all familiar with each other. Didn't I hurt you in demons? As the saying goes, if you don't fight, you won't get to know each other. Look at my current strength. If I really wanted to do anything to you, all of you aren't even enough to be crushed by me." Rage points plus 66. Rage points plus 222. Rage points plus 333. The surrounding demons roared and roared out in rage. Lin Fan estimated that his gains were okay, but compared to the experts of the Alliance, it was much worse. With the current situation, no matter how much he gained, as long as he had some, it was a good start. Demons, I don't have anything against you all. But he had no choice. The situation was a little tense, so he could only use you all to farm. Don't bully us. Don't think that just because your father is Lin Wani, you don't care about us demons. The Demon King said fiercely, "Our demon race doesn't only have us. We are just exiled, but if you dare to insult us, you will regret it." When she said these words, the Demon King was already terrified. She had no choice but to mention the demon race. At the same time, she told him that they were just exiled and that they didn't have any experts. "Your kibut is really round," Lin Fan said out of nowhere. Demon King? Lin Fan, and it is really big. Demon King. Lin Fan, your chest is really Go Z. 9 Demon? Go Z thought that young master was bored, which was why he came to find the demons. However, the following situation was a little off. Young master's words were something he didn't understand. Was it? A bold thought appeared in Go Z's mind. Young master had always rejected the marriage that old master arranged for him. Was it because the type he liked was different? He gathered his courage and looked at the demon in front of him. It was really weird. Its skin was weird, but its body was great. Was young master going to break logic and walk a different path? Old master wouldn't agree, right? Moreover, if young master really liked this demon, then what would his descendants look like? Just thinking about it shocked him. Calm. At that moment, a furious roar spread out from the East Forest. The surrounding demons were furious. This human actually dared to tease their king. This was the most sacred existence in their hearts. So how could they allow others to insult her? Rage points exploded. The Demon King's breathing became rushed, and her face turned dark and sunken. "Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? I am joking. Why are you so angry?" Lin Fan shrugged his shoulders and then said something that infuriated the demons. "Moreover, with your current strength, the gap between us is huge. Even if you stand there and don't move, you won't be able to kill me." Kacha. The ground beneath the Demon King cracked. It was obvious that she was furious. Pung. Lin Fan didn't hide himself. His aura exploded out and instantly covered the entire East Forest. "Don't be rash. I am just joking." Uproar. The demon's aura instantly weakened. They were covered by that terrifying aura and then looked at Lin Fan in shock. How could he be so strong? Go Z felt that young master was going to forcefully do something to her. That wasn't good, right? Very quickly, Lin Fan retracted his aura and smiled. "Don't be nervous. I really don't have any bad intentions towards all of you. Let's just have a simple chat." "All right. How do you demons reproduce?" Damn. This wasn't just a simple chat. It was developing on a deeper level. Old Ancestor Su walked around the various top sects and hoped to convince them to send experts to defend against the Alliance. Their Su family experts were already moving. The Imperial dynasty couldn't be wiped out, otherwise the world would be wiped out. Naturally, the top sects would fight intensely. Normal civilians were as weak as ants in front of those experts. At that moment, Old Ancestor Su left a certain top sect with a dark and sunken expression. It was obvious that he was bullied in that sect. Brother Su, wait. Not long after Old Ancestor Su left that sect, someone chased after him. "Brother Yu Chung, what is the matter?" Old Ancestor Su smiled and asked. Even if he was unhappy, he didn't show it. "Haze, Brother Su, I am really sorry. Even I can't go against the sect's decision." Yu Chung felt a little regretful and, at the same time, he didn't know what to say. He had a good relationship with old ancestor Su, and they had interacted when they were young. Old ancestor Su said, "It is okay. There are some things that you can't decide. I just didn't expect this to happen. Actually, there's something that I didn't want to say, but Brother Su and I have a good relationship, so I wanted to tell you. Some time ago, before Brother Su came, the sect masters of the various sects were invited to participate in a mysterious meeting. I don't know the specifics, but since then, many sects have sealed themselves off from the world," said Yucheng. Old ancestor Su's expression was solemn. It seemed like he had the same thoughts. "Thank you, Brother Yucheng, for telling me." Old ancestor Su cupped his fists. Right as he was about to leave, he turned his head and said, "Brother Yucheng, I hope that you can be careful. The Alliance's attack this time is the strongest in the past. Based on my estimations, if there aren't more experts defending, the border will be broken. As for when, it is just a matter of time. The sects sealing off the mountain and ignoring the matter is only sowing the seeds of disaster for the future." Old ancestor Su saw it more clearly than anyone else. There were indeed many experts defending the border. But how long could they last for? When that time came, it would be too late for regrets. "I'm sorry, Brother Su. I really can't help much," Yucheng said apologetically. "It is okay. Take care." Old ancestor Su cupped his fists and left. No matter what the situation was, he had to try. As long as one top sect was willing to help, then there would be a huge change to the border. Luckily, the Alliance's situation wasn't unified. If the Alliance attacked together and pulled those powers together, the outcome would be catastrophic. Yucheng looked at Brother Su's back view and shook his head regretfully. He really wanted to say that Brother Su still didn't understand. The various sects had tolerated it for a long time. Their final goal was to achieve a world without an imperial dynasty. Even if there was one, it had to be under the control of the sections. The emperor would be decided by the sects. That was the highest ideal of all the sections. Even the moment the imperial dynasty collapsed, Zhongshu's expression changed. Numerous sects would rule themselves and claim their territory. When old ancestor Su headed toward another top sect, there was a huge change in the area. Waves of extremely powerful auras attacked fiercely. The space was ripped open and several cold lights turned into a terrifying killing move. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of old ancestor Su. "How long?" Old ancestor Su hollered in rage. "Who is it?" He didn't expect that someone would ambush him. Shua. The space shook and 3 people appeared. The faces of these 3 figures were covered by a dark light, completely concealing their faces. These people's auras felt very unfamiliar. "Who are you?" Old ancestor Su said solemnly. These people weren't weak. Although they had just exchanged one move, he felt that they weren't weaker than him. "You are asking for death instead of having a good life," one of them said. His voice seemed to have been changed, and it was like an electronic voice. Old ancestor Su frowned. "Although I don't know who you are, you definitely have a reason for blocking my path. If you aren't from the Alliance, then you are from a top sect. I will suppress you and then see who you are." At that moment, old ancestor Su flipped his palm, and it felt like the sky was flipped. The 3 of them seemed to be in a chaotic world. He didn't dare to be careless. The 3 of them weren't weaker than him, and they definitely weren't normal people. Moreover, they came well prepared. How long? A huge battle exploded, and it shook the entire area. Brother Su. Yucheng sensed the ripples in the distance, and he hesitated. He knew that Brother Su was in trouble. Just as he was about to save him, someone appeared beside Yucheng. "Junior brother, this has nothing to do with you. Act like you didn't see anything." Yucheng looked at his senior brother, and then at the distance. In the end, he lowered his head, yes. There was nothing he could do. His position in the sect was high, but before him, there were many people who could suppress him. Another place. Evil God Junming was one of the higher-ups of Hell Mountain. He actually didn't return to the Alliance and instead stayed here. At the same time, he followed Yu Yunming. Your Wiz Temple is a sect, but now I understand why it is tough for your Wiz Temple to get stronger, Junming said. He was cold at the start, but now he spoke a lot more. Why? Yu Yunming asked curiously. At the same time, She realized that the guy in front of her loved to kill. He actually showed no mercy at all. Zhen Ming smiled. Because I feel that all of you are stupid. You are too kind, and you're digging your own grave. Since you are enemies, naturally, you have to kill them all. Leaving them alive is just a problem. Yu Yunming stomped her feet in rage. You are the stupid one. You haven't even seen people from his temple. So how do you know that we are stupid? Zhen Ming pointed at Yu Yunming and said, I know when I see you. There's no need to think too much. You said that your master is Senior Nun Miaozhen. Although you haven't taken her as a disciple, if she takes you as a disciple, then you won't be that smart. How can you say such things? I don't want to bother with you. Yu Yunming was furious and walked forwards. She didn't want to say a single word to Zhen Ming. She was really angry. How could he say that? Why are you angry? I am just joking. Okay, I admit my wrongs, don't be angry. Zhen Ming chased and said nice things. Even Zhen Ming himself didn't notice that he had changed. If this happened in the past, he wouldn't have believed that he would become like this. The distance between Yu Yunming and Zhen Ming unknowingly shrunk. Lin Fan left the East Forest in satisfaction. He was really satisfied in his heart. Go Zi couldn't understand what young master was doing. He felt that he was just too overbearing. The Yin demons were so furious that they were about to explode. Also, young master teased the Yin demon king, which made him feel like young master had different feelings for her. Young master, can I ask you something? Do you have some special feelings for the Yin demons? Go Zi asked. Moreover, this question was more tactful and not so direct. Lin Fan frowned and felt like there was a problem with Go Zi's words. Go Zi, what do you want to say? Just say it. Don't keep it in your heart. Lin Fan said. He couldn't understand what Go Zi was thinking. Go Zi said, Young master, I will always stand on your side. Even if your taste in choosing a partner is different from others, I won't have any thoughts. As long as young master likes it, it is okay. Although the Yin Demon King is a little weird, if you look closely, she is not bad. Lin Fan thought that Go Zi was going to say something, but when he heard that, he nearly spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn, Go Zi, what were you thinking? How did you know that I was interested in the Yin Demon King? Was it because of what he said before? He purposely angered her. Go Zi saw that young master's expression wasn't right, and thought that he was worried. Young master, after you rejected all the marriages that old master arranged, I thought that you had someone you liked. Now, I understand that you have other thoughts. Don't worry, I will always be by your side. Good luck, young master. For your own happiness, even if others don't understand you, I will. Lin Fan hugged Go Zi and pressed his head. Go Zi, what is going on in your head? How can you underestimate young master's taste? Do you want that Yin Demon King? You actually said that I was interested in her. I purposely angered her. Go Zi gritted his teeth. Young master, please spare me. I don't dare to have random thoughts. Only when he heard him beg did Lin Fan let him go. He was about to explode. Who knew that he would be misunderstood? Thinking about how the Yin Demon King looked, he was so terrified that his legs went soft. He admitted that the Yin Demon King's figure was indeed amazing, but you know what I mean. Land of the Alliance. When Lin Fan returned, Old Wu hurried over. Young master, old master is calling you over. Oh. Lin Fan nodded his head. Why did father call him over? He didn't understand. Old Wu said softly, Young master, I want to ask you something. Do you have problems with the Zhao family? No. Lin Fan replied really decisively and didn't even think about it. Zhao family? It seemed familiar, but in such a short time, he really couldn't recall anything. That's good. Old Wu muttered. He didn't understand why Zhao Qingma would come here and even say that she wanted to meet young master. Moreover, her expression seemed a little off. Lin Fan wanted to say that he remembered that there was something going on. But forget it. It was best if he didn't confess and looked at the situation first. How problematic. Chapter 334. I have a feeling that something isn't right. Before he reached the hall, he had a feeling that told him to be careful as an unknown danger was about to arrive. However, what was there to be afraid of? Since he could return safely from the East Forest, That was enough to show that he didn't fear anything. Asking the Een demons about reproduction was a deep topic, and it was worth studying. The expression of the Een demon king still appeared in his mind. Perhaps the question was too straightforward. It caused her to nearly fight him to the death. "Father, I am here." The moment Lin Fan reached the door, he shouted towards the door. "Zhao family? Did that kid find his way over?" When he saw the situation within, he was stunned. He didn't recognize them, an old man, a middle-aged man, and a girl. However, the middle-aged man was familiar. Where had he seen him before? He heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like it was something else. He had thought too much. However, he noticed that his father's gaze towards him was a little weird. When Lin Wani learned that Zhao Qingma wanted to meet his son, he was really emotional and excited. He felt that this unfilial kid was not bad. He went out for a trip and was actually able to attract a girl back. That made him happier than bringing glory to his ancestors. However, when he learned the truth, he was totally disappointed in this unfilial kid. Damn, trash. If he forced himself on her and made her pregnant, at most, he would scold him for not respecting women and then arrange a marriage for them. Even if he had no feelings, as long as he worked hard, it wouldn't be a problem. "Father, you were looking for me?" Lin Fan asked. At the same time, he noticed that her eyes were locked onto him. Especially this girl. Her gaze towards him was a little off. He was really confused. He didn't have any conflicts with her, right? To Zhao Qingma, when she saw Lin Fan, she was sure that he was the person she was looking for. "You unfilial kid. What did you do outside?" Lin Wani said fiercely. He started to question him in front of everyone. If someone else said that, he would definitely fight to the death with that person. However, the person before him was his father. No matter what he said, he had to accept it. Even if he was unwilling, he had to accept it. Otherwise, he would be struck by lightning. "Father, I didn't do anything." "Before scolding me, can you tell me what is going on? At least let me understand. You can't keep me guessing, right?" Lin Fan had a protest. "You can scold me, but there are some things that you can't accuse me of. If you have something to say, just say it. If you keep guessing, you might just say more bad things." This is the Zhao family's 8th young mistress, Zhao Qingma. "I don't want to say much, so I'll let young mistress Zhao ask you," Lin Wani said. He didn't say much and just sat at the side, drinking tea and letting the young man ask. Based on his understanding, his son was very shrewd. Later on, when there was a Tai Chi, he would just directly skip it. There was no need to be too entangled. Lin Fan smiled. "Hello, Miss Zhao." The girl in front of him was not bad. Zhao Qingma's looks were not bad. She was a beauty amongst beauties. She wasn't that attractive to Lin Fan. All women were the same. How could they have two heads? At this moment, Zhao Qingmo really wanted to take Lin Fan down, but she had to consider the situation here. Lin Wani was just at the side, so she didn't dare to act recklessly. She didn't come to cause a scene. She just wanted to ask what she wanted to know in front of Lin Wani. But she knew that it was tough, and she had to think of strategy. "Young Master Lin, did you meet my 9th brother in Rome City?" Zhao Qingma asked. Lin Fan was confused. "Miss Zhao, who is your 9th brother?" As expected, she knew that he wouldn't admit it so easily. But even then, she wouldn't let him off so easily. "My 9th brother, Zhao Bufan, the Zhao family's 9th young master," Zhao Qingma said. Lin Wani smiled. This brat was really immature. If he could get anything out of her, then he would have seen a ghost. Zhao Bufan. Lin Fan thought about it and felt that it sounded familiar. He thought about it and said, "I think there is such a person." Pucci. Lin Wani nearly spat out the tea he just drank. He stared at Lin Fan in disbelief. This unfilial kid, was there something wrong with his brain? He even admitted to it? "Oh, I remember. Zhao Bufan. He is from your Zhao family. I'm really sorry, I really didn't know. If I knew that your Zhao family knew my father, I wouldn't have bullied him." Lin Fan said. He felt that there was no need to hide some things. If he did it, then he did it. If he didn't, then he didn't. If he really dared to do it and didn't dare to admit it, then he wouldn't have done it. Zhao Qingma had many things she wanted to say, but she didn't know what to say after Lin Fan's words. He admitted it just like that. Lin Wani said, "You unfilial kid, think carefully. If he is related to you, then admit it. If he isn't, then don't. Father, I didn't. When she said that name, I felt that it was familiar. Thinking about it, I really did. I met that person in Rome City. He was a little arrogant, and I couldn't take it, so I kidnapped him. It was just such a simple matter. But I really didn't know that he was from Zhao family. If I knew, I wouldn't have done such a thing. Lin Fan said honestly. Of course, there were some lies, but basically, there wasn't any change. The old man beside Zhao Qingmao looked at Lin Fan in shock. He didn't expect that someone would be so honest. He had never heard of such a thing. However, the other party admitted that he had done it. Naturally, it made them slightly furious. This was bullying the people of the Zhao family, and they were the ones who were being bullied. Lin Wani's hand that held the cup trembled. It wasn't that he was afraid, but that he was shocked by what the unfilial kid did. He roared in his heart. Why did this unfilial kid admit it? What good would it do him? How could he be so stupid? Zhao Qingmao took in a deep breath and calmed her restless heart. Young Master Lin, where did the pill you got from my ninth brother go? It is a precious item of our Zhao family, so please repay it. She only needed the purple gold dragon essence pill. This was the Zhao family's treasure, and only direct descendants like them could have it. No one else could have it. Zhao Bufan lost the purple gold dragon essence pill and was deemed unsalvageable by the family. One could even say that he had lost his competitiveness. Lin Wani knew what pill she was talking about. Apart from the purple gold dragon essence pill, what else could it be? Pill. Lin Fan kept silent for a moment. No, I felt that it was good, so I gave it to my cousin. Phone. Zhao Qingmao's head felt like it was about to explode. How can you give it to your cousin? Do you know what it is? She was close to roaring. Lin Fan frowned. What are you doing? It is just a pill. What is the big deal? Moreover, I didn't know that it was from your Zhao family. Haze. Lin Wani sighed. Damn, this unfilial kid really said whatever he wanted to say. Couldn't he just say that he didn't see the pill? Even if they suspected and felt that he took it, they didn't have evidence and wouldn't dare to do anything to him. Now that he admitted it, that was too... Stop talking. If he continued, he really wanted to hammer this unfilial kid to death. Calm down, calm down. Zhao Qingmao told herself to calm down and not be rash. She definitely couldn't be rash. She was really infuriated by Lin Fan. She thought that since he admitted it so easily, things would be easy to deal with. Who knew that this would be the case? Lin Fan blinked and gave one a feeling that he was innocent. Of course, he was silently accepting the rage points. Although it wasn't much, it was still meat. Young Master Lin, where's your cousin? Zhao Qingmao asked. Lin Fan shook his head. I don't know. The scene was totally silent. He noticed that the way she looked at him was a little off. However, what he said was the truth. He gave the pill to his cousin. He didn't know where his cousin went. Did he think that he was lying? Sometimes, telling the truth would be doubted by others. This kind of feeling was really unpleasant. It meant that people nowadays didn't trust one another at all. Zhao Qingmao said, Uncle Lin, I want to get the purple gold dragon essence pill for the Zhao family. Please help me. This. Lin Wani was in a tough spot. What decision? He didn't know how to deal with this matter. He kept silent for a long while. Niece Qingmao, your big brother Fan is indeed in the wrong, but I have to say that your ninth brother is also very problematic. Your big brother Fan is a person who abhors evil and can't stand others being arrogant. It's fine if you say that Bufan is arrogant, but he should at least have an expert by his side. Now that this misunderstanding has happened, I have no choice and I can't get a purple gold dragon essence pill. Why don't you give me some face and let it go? Niece, do you think my face is worth that? Lin Wani said. Cough, cough. Old Wu couldn't help but cough. Old Master, you are starting to be shameless again. We aren't young anymore. We are all 60 and 70. It is best if we have some face. Brother Wu, what is wrong? Lin Wani asked. Old Wu said, Master, it's nothing. I was just thinking about the past. Niece Qingmao, your father and I are old acquaintances. There was a time when your father was in danger, and it was us who saved him. If we didn't save him, I'm afraid there wouldn't be a Niece Qingmao. Of course, as for the process of saving him, it was hard to say. Old Wu wouldn't say it out loud. This was because Old Master and he told the Zhao family head to call him father. Only by calling him father would he save him, otherwise he wouldn't. This was why the Zhao family head had a huge problem with the two of them. This was why the Zhao family experts didn't come to Yu City to fight the alliance. Instead, they went to other cities. In the words of the Zhao family head, he would rather help others than Yu City. Zhao Qingma was dumbfounded. She had never thought that this would be the outcome. Lin Wani said one sentence. Should she give him face? If she didn't, then the situation wasn't right. Also, how could my father know you? Moreover, you saved my father's life. If that was the case, then Zhao family and Lin family should have a good relationship. She felt like the people here weren't easy to deal with. Zhao Qingma looked to the side. The old man nodded his head and hoped that little miss wouldn't continue asking. How vicious. 3 guys pressed down on a young girl. Moreover, the 2 of them were seniors. Was he so shameless? Since Uncle Lin has spoken, then how would I dare to not give him face? Zhao Qingma's expression was calm, but her heart was filled with despair. Lin Wani smiled. That's good. This is Uncle's good niece. Let's just forget about the pill. I've already eaten it, so how can I take it out? When Uncle gets some good stuff in the future, I'll give it to niece. Zhao Qingma was about to cry. Things shouldn't have been like this. Also, how could Lin Wani say that? He directly asked if she would give him face. Zhao Qingma didn't know how to reply. She regretted it. She should have replied like that. Naturally, she had to give him face. But this concerned the purple gold dragon essence pill. If she couldn't get it, she would be punished. Why didn't she think about it? Now that she thought about it, what was the point? Should she say it? Just as Zhao Qingma was about to speak, Lin Wani got up. The border isn't peaceful and I have to patrol, so I won't be accompanying you. Fan accompany Qingma and remember not to make her angry. Otherwise, I will teach you a lesson. Oh, Lin Fan replied calmly. Instantly, only Lin Fan and Zhao Qingma were left in the room. Father and Old Wu retreated really quickly. They didn't even turn their heads and just disappeared from everyone's eyes. Lin Fan smiled. Little Miss Zhao, shall I walk around with you? His expression was like he didn't care about this at all. As for the pill or not, that was in the past, and there was no need to worry about it. Zhao Qingma looked at Lin Fan. Was there even a need to walk around in such a situation? She had prepared well before coming and even thought about how to get the truth from him. Now, she got the truth really quickly, but the outcome was something she had never expected. How to put it in one sentence? The older one was, the wiser one was. If one wasn't good at scheming, it would be easy for one to be tricked. Outside, this unfilial kid is so worrisome. However, did Zhong Mao obtain the dragon transformation effect after consuming the purple gold dragon essence pill? Lin Wani muttered. Old Wu said, Old Master, the purple gold dragon essence pill is a precious pill of the Zhao family. If it can help him transform, then Zhong Mao has obtained a huge opportunity. Yeah, let's hide it for a while and not let this brat see it. Otherwise, what will I take out to compensate her for the pill? Lin Wani was helpless. He was already so old, so it wouldn't be good for him to be so shameless for once. However, forget it. If it spread, then so be it. It wasn't like other people didn't know about it. As for Zhao Qingma, it was okay for her to tell her father. If she had the ability, then come to Yu City to find them. With 2 fathers here, how would they be afraid of one son? P.S. I recommend a book, Capital is Earth, written by a good friend. There was a summary, but it was too flashy. Go support it, he. Chapter 335. Little Miss Zhao. There isn't much to look at here. The only interesting thing is when the Alliance attacks. However, I don't mind a beauty like you staying here. It is too dangerous. Lin Fan brought them to walk casually on the city walls. What was father thinking? Why did he want him to accompany them? Wouldn't it be over if he sent them away? Go. Z had seen Zhao Qingma and the others before and told young master about their situation in Martial Path Mountain. This woman was interested in 9 Demon, but luckily, Feng Poliu rejected and 9 Demon stayed. Lin Fan didn't care much about that. It was just a small matter. Also, he really didn't expect that they would find their way to Yu City. He just showed his face to Zhao Bufan. He really didn't expect that they would find him. So amazing. Zhao Qingma's eyes locked onto Lin Fan. Naturally, she had to give Lin Wani face. but she was really unwilling. How could they do that? The purple gold dragon essence pill was really precious, so how could she just let it go like that? Ah. Lin Fan felt that her gaze made him uncomfortable. He turned his head and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that? Is there anything?" That question was just so beautiful. Did he not know whether or not there was a problem? Zhao Qingma said, "The purple gold dragon essence pill is really important to the Zhao family. Did your cousin really consume it?" "Yes. Why would I lie to you? Moreover, I have never lied to anyone in my life." Even he didn't believe his own words. Zhao Qingma didn't give up. "Is there anything different about him?" Lin Fan pondered for a moment and shook his head. "No, there's no change. It's still the same as before. If you ask me, this stupid pill is really useless. Why are you guys so concerned about it? Could it be that this pill contains some big secret?" She asked like she didn't know anything, but how could he not know? Wasn't it just dragon form? Only Cousin's eyes turned into dragon form. He didn't know the exact situation. He really wanted to study Cousin, but unfortunately, he wasn't by his side and couldn't satisfy his desire. Zhao Qingma tried to hide her gaze and said, "There isn't any secret." She muttered in her heart. He didn't dragon form. Good, that was good. If he dragon form, then it would be a huge loss. The true use of the purple gold dragon essence pill was its dragonization effect. In their Zhao family, there were very few people who could dragon transform. If an outsider swallowed a pill and obtained dragon transformation and the Zhao family found out about it, they might even have the heart to kill themselves. In fact, the Zhao family would definitely get rid of this outsider at all costs. Lin Fan rolled his eyes. It was as if he was saying, "As if I'll believe you. You're really evil, old hag." Then, he brought Zhao Qingma and the others to look around. At the same time, he brought them to the toilet in Yu City. He explained to them how the battle of *T and poetry happened. Zhao Qingma almost spat out a mouthful of saliva. It was too disgusting. The way they looked at Lin Fan became really weird. They didn't expect this person to be so disgusting. When they thought about how Alliance members were drenched in *T, they felt their stomachs turn and they felt like they were about to vomit. "Doesn't that mean that the Alliance has to kill you?" Zhao Qingma said. "This damn fellow did such a thing. So how would the Alliance let him off?" Lin Fan said calmly, "Yeah, that is the case. I am someone that the Alliance has to kill. Not only me, but the entire Yu City is. Since all of you are here, why don't you stay here and fight against the Alliance with us? Although the Alliance likes to rape women before killing them, everything is to fight against the Alliance. So, no matter how much you suffer, it is worth it. Let me tell you about the Alliance's methods. When they deal with guys, they kill them in one strike. They won't let you breathe, but it's different for women. They will rip off all your clothes and use tweezers to pull out your nails one by one. Then, a bunch of naked guys will stand behind you and fix your limbs on the table. Then, Lin Fan's expression was really rich, and he spoke like it was the truth. Initially, Zhao Qingma's expression was still calm, but gradually, her expression changed drastically as she listened to Lin Fan's words. "Young Master Lin, you're making it sound too serious." The old man standing behind Zhao Qingma said. He saw her expression change and knew that she was frightened by young Master Lin's words. Lin Fan said, "I'm not lying to all of you. Also, have you been at the border before? Have you fought against the Alliance?" The old man shook his head, "No." "Then, why are you saying that? You haven't even fought before. So how do you know that it isn't serious?" Lin Fan said in disdain. Now that he was in his own territory, he could really do whatever he wanted. His status as a rich family young master rose once more, and normal people didn't dare to offend him. The old man frowned. This kid was just too much and didn't give him any face at all. "Little Miss Zhao, let me bring you somewhere else. My father gave me a heavy responsibility, and if I don't treat you well, he will find trouble with me." Lin Fan smiled. Now, all the shops in Yu City were closed, and most of the shop owners were experts. Now that they removed their identities as shop owners, they picked up their weapons to fight the Alliance. Where would they find so much food? They didn't even have anything to play with. To Zhao Qingma, this trip was a failure, and she didn't get what she wanted at all. Although she knew Lin Fan's identity and he admitted that he was the one who took the purple gold dragon essence pill. What could she do? There was nothing she could do at all. Lin Wani's name was like a mountain pressing down on her body. It seemed like she could only go back and tell her father. She would have to let him decide what to do next. Zhao Qingma was really unwilling, but what else could she do? It seemed like she could only return to the Zhao family and tell her father. That night, Lin Fan accompanied Zhao Qingma to many places and told her many terrifying things. If they were outside, he might have been able to keep his composure in case she was forced into a corner and attacked him. But here, he didn't need to worry about such small things. Kachi, who? Lin Fan was prepared to raise his strength. The pressure here was huge, and if he didn't raise his strength, he might not be able to beat her. Just at that moment, someone pushed open the door. Lin Fan thought that it was a beauty who wanted to earn money. Father, why are you here? Lin Fan heaved a sigh of relief. It was his father. However, he was really curious. Since he came back, his father's attitude towards him wasn't that good. But he could understand. Father knew that this place was dangerous, which was why he didn't want him to come back. This was the love of a father. Did you smell it? Lin Wani didn't give him a good expression. Why? Can't I come to see you? Father, I didn't mean that. I was just asking. Lin Fan was helpless. Who asked you to be my father? If anyone else dared to speak to me with such an attitude, I wouldn't dare to say much. I would definitely beat him up. Lin Wani looked at this unfilial kid and was really curious. What did he go through outside? The changes were just too huge. Could it be that people with good luck could only become stronger by going out? I told you to accompany her. So how did it go? Lin Wani asked in a gentle tone. No matter what, his son was so amazing and he was really proud. However, he definitely couldn't show it. He understood this unfilial son very well. With just a few words of praise, he would be able to climb up the roof and tear down the tiles. He had to give him a severe beating. In the past, you were so lazy and I felt like I couldn't save you, so I just let you be. But now that you gave me such a huge surprise, don't blame me for teaching you a lesson. Lin Fan said, Father, I will definitely complete your instructions. Zhao Qingma is really satisfied with me, and I brought her to many places. I also told her many things about the alliance. I think she definitely gained a lot. Naturally, Lin Wani wouldn't believe Lin Fan's words. But as long as he didn't cause trouble, he asked, Let me ask you, and you have to answer truthfully. After Zhongmao consumed the purple gold dragon essence pill, did he dragon transform? Dragon transformation was really hard. Even the Zhao family didn't have many. But for some reason, he felt that Zhongmao would definitely be able to dragon transform. Maybe it was because he trusted the person that he personally raised. Unfortunately, this unfilial kid was so dumb to not consume such a good thing. But from this, one could see how well the unfilial kid treated his cousin. Facing such a precious pill, even blood brothers would plot against one another, much less a cousin. Lin Fan's expression turned solemn, and he nodded his head. Yes, cousin did dragon transform. The part of the dragon transformation is his eyes. He didn't hide anything. If he could even deceive his father, then there wouldn't be much meaning to it. When Lin Wani heard that he really dragon transformed, his expression changed. It was obvious that he was shocked. It is good that he dragon transformed. Although he had never taken the purple gold dragon essence pill before, he was very familiar with it. It contained the blood of a dragon. If he could really transform into a dragon, it meant that his body did not reject it. As long as he continued to cultivate, the benefits would increase. What do you think of Zhao Qingma? Lin Wani asked. When Lin Fan heard that, he was a little stunned. He then came back to his senses. No, she's too ugly and has a bad temper. She is also a little cunning. Father, I think that if she marries and gives birth to a child, the child might be surnamed Zhao. When his father opened his mouth, he knew that his father was up to no good. He even wanted to grumble. Dad, can you not always use this kind of thinking to treat me? I am still young and don't want to marry so early. Although I know that I am handsome and have a good body, I can't do that. Lin Wani wanted to scold this unfilial kid for not being in a rush to have a family and just thinking about it. But suddenly, he felt that his unfilial kid's words made sense. If he stayed in Yu City to defend against the alliance, his life and death would be uncertain. If he died, the Zhao family son would have no pressure and would change his surname to Zhao. Wouldn't that cause the Lin family to have no descendants? After Lin Wani understood that, he didn't continue to talk about what happened next. The imperial dynasty emperor said that he would marry the princess to his son, so he just had to be the prince consort and not think about anything else. I'm just asking. Rest early and don't stay up all day. Lin Wani left with his arms behind his back. From start to finish, he didn't say anything useful. Lin Fan looked at his father's back view and shook his head. He sighed helplessly. What was his father thinking? Can't you see how outstanding your son is? Forget it. Let's not think so much. In the future, he would understand how amazing his son was. He looked at his rage points. 177466. This was a really overbearing amount of rage points. The Yin demons were so furious that they were about to explode on the spot. Unfortunately, the Yin demons weren't strong overall, and there were only a few of them. Moreover, he teased the Yin demon king, causing some of them to explode. If he teased them more slowly, he wouldn't have gotten so much. Unfortunately, this bit of points wasn't enough to do anything. It was still too little. In proof, he consumed 80,000 rage points. True Heaven Body Secret Technique, Grade 6. The method of cultivating the divine body was indeed very powerful. His divine body was constantly strengthening. Although he was still in the yin-yang realm, his divine body had already been enhanced to an extremely terrifying level in this realm. He felt really terrifying. Now that he needed 80,000 rage points to raise one Grade 6, the amount he needed later would be even more terrifying. After his cultivation rose to yin-yang realm, he hadn't cultivated any yin-yang realm techniques. This was something he needed to cultivate. He could raise his own strength in the same realm. Although his current strength was equivalent to an invincible existence in the same realm, he did not mind becoming stronger. This technique is not bad. Lin Fan chose chaotic yin-yang reversal. This was a fist technique, and it was not bad. In proof, he consumed a total of 63,000 rage points. Chaotic yin-yang reversal, return a true, damn, how terrifying. Heart cultivation consumes too much. A yin-yang realm fist technique actually can't compare to the rage points needed to raise one Grade 6. Till now, he had consumed 143,000 rage points and was left with 30,000. Lin Fan could sense the increase in his strength. It was much more terrifying than before. With his current realm, he estimated that he could casually hammer at yin-yang realm, but at domain realm, he would need to turn into a bug. Moreover, the bug had to be really strong. Otherwise, if he faced a strong domain realm expert, he might be smashed to death. Thinking about the Alliance's 8-star, Xiao Hu, he was a really terrifying person. At the same realm, he might have been one of the most terrifying ones. That move from that day directly destroyed his bug body. He had a deep memory of it, and he remembered it clearly. If he faced him again, maybe it wouldn't be so bad, but he probably still wouldn't be his match. As he hadn't fought before, it was hard to say. The next day, Go Zi's return made Lin Fan's life much more exquisite. The moment he opened his eyes, he brushed his teeth and washed his face. He ate a sumptuous breakfast and then walked around to relax and breathe in the fresh air. Another place. Zhao Qingma said, Uncle Lin, I have something to do, so I won't disturb you. She basically had nothing to do here. Since she couldn't find the purple gold dragon essence pill, then what was the point? It was best if she went back to tell her father about the situation. The most important thing was that the alliance that Lin Fan had mentioned had truly frightened her. If it was yesterday, Lin Wani might not have been willing to let her leave. But after Lin Fan's reminder, he was a little afraid. If she wanted to leave, then so be it. It was better for his son to be with the princess. Since that is the case, then I won't make you stay, Lin Wani said. Outside, Lin Fan looked at Zhao Qingma and smiled. Miss Zhao, why are you in such a hurry to leave? If you don't stay for a period of time, you might even face the Alliance's attack. Zhao Qingma's body shook. Alliance's attack? Stop joking. I didn't come here to defend against the Alliance. If what he said really happened, I would even want to die. Young Master Lin, I have something to do, so I won't stay any longer. I hope that young Master Lin can come to the Zhao family as a guest. Zhao Qingma said. Although during this period of time, both sides were quite friendly, it depended on whether or not the place was good. This was the border. How could she, Zhao Qingma, be so stupid as to do as she pleased here? Okay, if I have the chance, I will definitely go. Lin Fan smiled and then looked at Ing Jiao. You look familiar. Aren't you junior brother Feng Poliu? In the past, you followed Insect Valley, so why are you with the Zhao family now? Out of the three of them, the one he was most familiar with was naturally Ing Jiao. No, it should be Ing Jiao. That was his real name. Lin Fan continued. It isn't a good habit for you to change so many times. You need to change it. When Yin Jiao heard this, his face turned green and white. It was obvious that he was a little angry. What did he mean by changing many times? 9-Bug Gang was wiped out. Naturally, he had to join someone stronger. Was there anything wrong with that? Zhao Qingma said, Young Master Lin, he is an Insect Valley disciple. My Zhao family loves talents. 9-Bug Gang wasn't a good place for him, so he became a guest after my Zhao family invited him. Yin Jiao looked at Miss Zhao gratefully. His impression of Lin Fan wasn't that good. It isn't early. Young Master Lin, goodbye. Zhao Qingma cupped her fists. Lin Fan smiled. Okay, I won't send you off. If you face danger, run back. If you can't, don't let him fall into the hands of the Alliance. Otherwise, the outcome will be unimaginable. You will be... Zhao Qingma was terrified of Lin Fan's words. The main reason was that they were just too disgusting. They were just too unfriendly to girls. Very quickly, they all left. I have to be careful of the Zhao family. Lin Fan retracted his smile and slowly became solemn. Zhao family found out what he did, so naturally, it wouldn't be so easy to solve it. The reason why everything was calm now was because his father was here, so they didn't dare to go overboard. If they were outside, one could see what would have happened. Since the purple gold dragon essence pill was so important and he snatched it, then the Zhao family would probably want to kill him. As expected, it was important to have a strong father. Outside you city. Little miss, what should we do now? The old man asked. Zhao Qingma's face turned terrifyingly cold, and there were even flames of rage burning in her eyes. That damn fellow. If we weren't here, would he even have the chance to stand and talk to me? The old man was helpless, and there was nothing he could do about it. Little miss, luckily you can bear with it. Otherwise, with Lin Wani's personality, he might have killed us and destroyed all evidence. The old man sighed. Luckily, everything was calm and nothing happened. He dares. Zhao Qingma didn't believe it. No matter what, she was the Zhao family 8th miss and had a high status. The old man was sure. I don't know whether or not other people dare, but if it is Lin Wani, he really dares. Don't look at how harmless Lin Wani is and how he calls Little Miss your niece. However, to reach his strength and status, no one is kind. Especially if someone threatens his son, he won't be kind. The old man said as if he knew many things. Zhao Qingma looked at him curiously. How much do you know? Tell me about Lin Wani's history. What has he done? Okay, then I will tell Little Miss about the past. I hope that you won't be frightened. The old man said calmly like he was talking about something really normal. There were too many legends about Lin Wani, and many of them were things that others didn't dare to imagine. Zhao Qingma was really curious, but she was really unhappy about this trip. She didn't gain anything, and it was a complete waste of time. If he wasn't Lin Wani's son, she would have brought him back to the Zhao family. But now, she could only return empty-handed. How hateful. Alliance main camp. Zhu Daoshan wasn't in a good mood recently. What happened here spread across the Alliance. Even if the Alliance headquarters locked down many platforms, there were some things that couldn't be avoided. General, we have mostly calmed them down. Those who want to leave will be treated as traitors. The bespectacled guy reported the situation. Although the calming effect was good, there were still many members who were resistant to the outside world. It was like that matter had left a deep scar in their hearts. That was true. Normal people really couldn't take it. SH*T was such a terrifying experience. Now, they paid a lot of attention to the defense in the sky because they were afraid that something like that would happen again. During this period of time, let everyone rest and prepare to attack once more. No matter what, we have to raise our morale. Zhu Daoxin knew that he couldn't continue like this. Otherwise, it would only lower their morale and affect the entire war situation. The Alliance headquarters was trying their best to rope in the various powers. They hoped that they would send experts to help. This was a good chance, and also their only chance. Before the natives were united, they could destroy all the border defenses in one go. That way, the Alliance would be able to catch a breather. Yes, General. The bespectacled guy replied. That was what he was thinking too. Young master, what are you looking at every day? Go Z asked. There wasn't much to look at. Lin Fan looked into the distance. Look, that is the Alliance's territory. I am thinking about how to make them feel that this place is dangerous and that all of you will die if you stay here. Go Z felt that this question was a little profound, and he actually didn't know how to reply. Go Z, inform Liang Yichu to collect all the sh*t in U City. Maybe it will be useful in the future. Lin Fan instructed. Now, he would collect it and seal it up to ferment. Maybe its quality would increase by 1 or 2 levels. Yes, young master. Go Z replied. Naturally, he couldn't let young master do it himself. He was the only one who needed to do such a small thing. Very quickly, Go Z hurried towards the city. When Go Z passed young master's words to Liang Yichu, he was really pumped up. He felt like the battle had begun and his blood was boiling. Go back and tell Brother Lin not to worry. Leave this to me. Liang Yichu knew that he was weak and couldn't help much against the Alliance. All he could do was transport some resources. But the situation was different now. He felt that he could help out against the Alliance. When Liang Yichu informed the entire city, everyone was pumped up. They rubbed their palms together. As Liang Yichu's wife, when Chun Yafei learned that her husband was going to collect sh*t, she covered her face in disbelief. Why did he have to compete with sh*t? Yichu, remember to wash up when you come back. Don't make the house smell like sh*t. I know. After that last time, when Liang Yichu returned home, the smell changed. It became so smelly that it was unimaginable. At this moment, everyone in U City started to search for sh*t. Maybe a new sh*t war was about to erupt. On the city walls, Lin Fan touched Nine Demon's head and thought about what was going to happen next. With the current situation, the Alliance definitely wouldn't take this lying down. They would definitely attack. There were a total of 8 border cities. Apart from Aigu City, which had been broken through, there were 7 more. U City was under the most pressure. They faced more Alliance troops than the other border cities. The pressure was huge. Naturally, Lin Fan was nervous. Sometimes, he was even a little afraid. If U City was broken through, he might die. TSK. What was he thinking about? It was natural for him to be nervous. The main reason was that he wasn't strong enough. If he raised his strength to the peak, then no matter who they were, they could come and fight him. Nine-headed bug, aren't you amazing? If I merge with you, how strong will you make me? Lin Fan was really curious. Nine Demon was an exquisite bug. It didn't eat humans or grass. It just liked to eat Go Z's cooking, and it also liked to eat special internal strength. Although he didn't have a deeper level of contact with a nine-headed bug, he believed that it wouldn't disappoint him. Nine Demon raised its head. Although he didn't know what it wanted to express, it seemed like it was looking forward to it. Lin Fan patted its head and got up. He placed his hands on the city walls and looked into the distance. He wanted to continue to cause problems for the Alliance. But after thinking about it for a long time, he couldn't think of a better idea. He couldn't throw sh*t as it wouldn't succeed. After the Alliance experienced it once, they would definitely be wary. Moreover, it would be of great use in the future, so he couldn't waste it. Damn, he didn't expect that sh*t would be so popular. Old Master, young Master is collecting sh*t in the city again. Old Wu was helpless. He didn't expect young Master to come into contact with sh*t once more. Lin Wani's expression was really rich. He had many things he wanted to say, but he didn't know what to say. This unfilial kid. These 3 words showed how helpless Lin Wani was towards Lin Fan. Couldn't he do something decent? But he had to admit, this unfilial kid's actions were really successful and dealt a heavy blow to the alliance. This was something that they couldn't do after such a long time. Maybe this was the way young people thought. Their way of thinking had already solidified. Old Wu said, "Old Master, I don't think this is a good action. Once young Master becomes a peak expert, this will be a black mark that can't be wiped away. Maybe his enemies will give him a nickname and it will be passed down." Brother Wu, do you think this unfilial kid will give his enemies a chance to give him a nickname? Lin Wani asked. Such actions were just so despicable. He was even more vicious than when he was young. Old Wu was speechless. It seemed like what Old Master said was true. With young Master's personality, Lin Fan really didn't have a chance. A few days later, Lin Fan had nothing to do every day. He just laid on the city walls and waited. He really didn't believe it. Why wasn't the Alliance attacking? Suddenly, the area in the distance was a little off. A thick aura covered the area. Kwangdang. Lin Fan stood up excitedly. "Father, enemy attack," he shouted at the top of his lungs. His voice shook the area. Numerous auras exploded from all around. Lin Wani was the first to appear. He flipped his palm, and a halberd appeared. He looked into the distance with a solemn expression. "Hurry up and back off." Who knew that, after a few days, the Alliance finally couldn't take it anymore and wanted to attack? "Father, I can't retreat. I am part of the fight against the Alliance, so you just have to look after me. You don't have to worry about anything else." Lin Fan said. He looked at Go Zi and said, "Bring 9 demon to the back. This battle isn't something you can handle." "Yes, young master, be careful." Go Zi knew his place and knew that he was weak. If he stayed here, he would just drag them down. He left without hesitation. "They're finally here. I have been waiting for a long time." Lin Fan's palms were sweaty. Later on, he would have to use his skills. At the same time, he was really excited. If he did it well, the rage points he would get would be shocking. It didn't matter if he was a 9-star general or not. What he needed was numbers. In the distance, Zhu Daoxin's expression was solemn. Gang Xiong's face was cold, and one could see the flames of rage burning in his eyes. "Gang Xiong, don't be rash. Calm down." He was most afraid that Gang Xiong would be too rash and spoil the plan. Gang Xiong didn't reply. It was like he was saying that after going through all these things, if he could still tell himself to remain calm, then he could persuade others. "All of you stop." Zhu Daoxin raised his hand and his voice spread out. The army stopped and floated in the air. He looked at Gang Xiong with a strict gaze. "I'm asking you a question. Did you even hear me?" Gang Xiong looked at Zhu Daoxin. "How can I not be rash? Do I rely on my will or on myself? I really want to rip that bastard into pieces and toss him into the Alliance's *T pit to drown him." Pooey, what cruel methods. A 9-star general couldn't help but laugh. But when he saw Gang Xiong's furious gaze, he shut up and turned his head. It was like he wasn't the one who said those words. Rely on what? Rely on the Alliance. For the Alliance to win, who cares about personal matters? You need to look at the big picture. If your rash actions cause the entire Alliance to lose, you will be the Alliance's sinner. Now, tell me, can you suppress the rage in your heart? If you can't, then you don't need to fight this battle. Zhu Daoxin looked at Gang Xiong. He definitely wouldn't allow a single person to spoil the plan, not even a 9-star general. Gang Xiong took in a deep breath and suppressed the rage in his heart. "Understood, I can." He knew that if he couldn't head over, then he wouldn't be able to vent the rage in his heart. "I hope that you can remember what you said. Let's go," Zhu Daoxin said, and then struck forwards. The army moved out once more. At the same time, there were some high-tech things. Chapter 336. I have waited for a long time. Lin Fan stood with his arms behind his back and looked really cool. The U-City experts floated in the air and slowly gathered their auras to the peak. Wind blew and clouds surged. An unimaginable battle was about to occur. "Young master, remember not to be rash. Just stay behind us." Old Wu's expression was solemn. He hoped that young master wouldn't be too rash. If he was too rash, then it would be problematic. Old Wu, can I take your words to mean that you don't have much confidence in my strength? Lin Fan felt that he was looking down on him. Old Wu smiled awkwardly. Young master, I'm just worried about you. I accept that reason. Lin Fan nodded his head calmly. He could sense Old Wu's concern towards him. He was really curious and filled with anticipation towards what was going to happen next. The existence of the alliance was the only thing on his mind. At the same time, he was worried about something. Each time someone died in Yu City, there would be one less person. Without any new strength injected in, it was a slow suicide. On the other hand, the alliance could replenish their strength. This was an extremely frightening matter. How long could they last for? No one was sure. Not long later, the alliance experts arrived. General Zhu Daoshan led the alliance members and floated in the distance. He didn't start the battle right away, and it was as if he was waiting. As experts of their level, they would usually speak a few words first and not start a fight right away. Their cultivations were extremely terrifying. Once they started fighting, it would be a world-shaking sight that could only be described as a strange phenomenon. In the darkness, Lin Fan felt a terrifying gaze staring at him. He raised his head and looked out. Right, it was you. You were the one staring at me. General Gang Xiong's eyes locked onto Lin Fan. It was as if everything around wasn't important to him anymore. Lin Fan smiled and actually nodded his head at Gang Xiong. It was like he was greeting an old friend that he hadn't seen in a long time. Such a provocative action totally infuriated General Gang Xiong. But when he thought about Zhu Daoshan's warning, he suppressed the rage in his heart and didn't explode. Young Master Lin is being stared at by that fellow. Pay attention later. Drunk Fragrance Pavilion Manager Zhang Sheng said softly. Zhu Shan acknowledged his agreement. The surrounding experts also took it to heart. Thinking about it, it was indeed so. They all saw how Gang Xiong turned into a dung beetle, so it was natural for them to be angry at young Master Lin. No rage points? Lin Fan didn't expect that Gang Xiong didn't provide him with rage points. It seemed like during this period of time, Gang Xiong provided him with rage points every day, and he had reached his limit. If he wanted to obtain it again, he would have to wait for a period of time. But it didn't matter. Gang Xiong didn't have any rage points, but those alliance members had new rage points. They didn't provide any as they didn't know who did it. Lin Wani, I really don't want to fight to the death with you. You and I are in the same generation. We could be very good friends, drinking and chatting in some place, and looking forward to the future of the age, and not at each other's throats as we do now. The Alliance headquarters is willing to give you a chance. We just need enough resources, and you can become the new emperor of the Imperial Dynasty. You can improve together with the Alliance headquarters. I hope that you can consider it and not miss this chance. Zhu Daoshan didn't attack right away and continued to use words to tempt him. His words were sincere, and he really hoped that Lin Wani could work with the Alliance. They were the pioneers of this era. Shua! Lin Wani raised the halberd in his hand and waved it towards Zhu Daoshan. At that moment, a heaven-splitting light roared forwards like it was about to rip open the sky. Zhu Daoshan moved, and the cold light stuck to his body as he disappeared into the distance. Lin Wani, is this your choice? Zhu Daoshan's voice became dark and sunken. He had said enough. At the same time, he had high hopes for Lin Wani. But unfortunately, Lin Wani didn't care. The other party didn't appreciate his kindness and didn't even think of anything else. Why are you still talking nonsense? I have been here for so long. So how can a few words of nonsense from you change my mind? Lin Wani hollered in rage. His fighting intent boiled, and he smashed open the clouds in the sky. This was a battle between experts. It wasn't a battle of strength, but a battle of aura and comprehension. Lin Fan was really eager. He had been waiting here for this day. If they were to fight, wouldn't all their previous efforts be in vain? Father, can I say a few words? Lin Fan shouted. He knew that it was useless to shout like this. If his father cared about him, then the sun would rise from the west. He had to rely on himself. Alliance. Lin Fan gathered his energy and hollered. To attract the attention of the Alliance members, he nearly broke his throat from shouting. The atmosphere on the battlefield became suppressed, and a battle could erupt at any moment. The nervous Alliance members all turned their gazes and locked on a Lin Fan when they heard that. Lin Wani was shocked. What was this unfilial kid thinking? Cough, cough. Lin Fan coughed. Have all of you forgotten the day you were ruled by sh*t? As expected, when Lin Fan said sh*t, the expressions of the Alliance members changed. It was as if Lin Fan's words had awakened them. Their faces were filled with terror. They thought back to that day. The originally clear sky was filled with sh*t. It rained on their bodies and smelled in their hearts. Right, all of you are right. I did all of this. I gathered all the sh*t in you city and sent it to you. Remember my name? I am Lin Fan. In the past, maybe you weren't familiar with me, but now you should remember that I will be your nightmare. Lin Fan was really calm. The reason why he revealed the truth to the public was so that everyone would know that he was the one who had caused all of this. Why weren't they getting angry? Young Master, Old Wu looked at Lin Fan with his mouth agape. He really didn't expect Young Master to say such words. Wasn't that the same as announcing himself to everyone? To make all the Alliance members furious? Uproar. Loud noises spread out from the Alliance side. Old Wu, it is okay. We should tell them. Lin Fan said. The Alliance members stared at Lin Fan. Slowly, they all started to get angry. Rage points plus 666. Rage points plus 999. Instantly, rage points exploded out. Lin Fan was shocked. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. The noises from the Alliance side meant that they were furious. What was the most humiliating thing in their lives? Everyone would probably say that when sh*t covered their bodies, that was when they were the most furious. It is him, this native did it. That damn thing. I'm going to rip his body into pieces. Later, if any of you have a chance, go kill him. Okay. The rage of the Alliance members was really high, about to dye the entire area red. There were many God Essence Realm and above experts. Don't think that they were weak here. If they were in the Alliance City, their status and identity would be really high. However, there were too many experts here, which gave one an illusion. You unfilial kid, do you know what you're saying? Lin Wani really wanted to beat Lin Fan to death. It was okay that he offended the 9-star general, but now he wanted to offend all the Alliance members? Father, I know what I'm doing. This battle is unavoidable. Father, attack, I will cheer you on. Lin Fan clenched his fists and supported his father. Damn! Lin Wani took in a deep breath to calm his raging heart down. If not for the current situation, he really wanted to teach this unfilial kid a lesson. He had already returned to U City and had a strong backer. He wasn't interested in fighting, but he could still cause some problems for the Alliance. Lin Fan was unhappy and hollered once more. What's going on? Did all of you sh*t people forget the day you were drenched in sh*t? He felt that these Alliance members weren't strong enough. Rage points continued to explode. How far had he gotten? Maybe the path to the peak was just so simple and not as difficult as he thought. He took a look at his rage points. Terrifying. He had already accumulated 500,000 yuan. As expected, mocking a group was the most overbearing. As long as he raised his strength, he would be able to do whatever he wanted. The Alliance members wanted to forget those scenes that they couldn't bear to look back on. But this damn fellow kept reminding them like he was afraid that they would forget. Shut up. Zhu Daoshan didn't expect the kid to infuriate the Alliance members. Lin Wani, you really have a good son. I think he is walking further and further on the path of death. Even you won't be able to protect him. Lin Wani smiled. If I can't protect him, then it will be time for me to die. With your strength, you aren't strong enough to kill me. Father, I'm so touched. Lin Fan sniffed. Father's words were just too overbearing, and he treated him as a treasure. Thinking back to those days outside, it was really painful. No one cared about him. When he said his father's name, people would beat him up even more fiercely. Look at how overbearing the current situation was. With his father here, who would dare to bully him? That's right. If you want young Master Lin to die, then let's see whether or not your Alliance has the ability. USH*T people are just asking for trouble by saying such words. Zhu Shun was really overbearing. He didn't hold him in any regard at all. He even mocked him without any restraint. Lin Fan looked at Zhu Shun and felt a little helpless. This was someone who knew how to steal the show. If he could also absorb rage points, maybe he would absorb more than him. Chapter 337. After this matter, Lin Fan had become someone the Alliance had to kill, especially General Gang Xiong from start to finish. His eyes were locked on a Lin Fan and didn't shift at all. His gaze was like he had killed his father. Truthfully, it was a little terrifying. As expected, I attract too much hatred. I feel like numerous eyes are locked onto me. Are they going to fight me to the death? Lin Fan felt really uncomfortable, but he didn't fear anything. This was the path he chose. If he wanted to become stronger, then he had to pay a price. General Zhu, when do we attack? Gang Xiong's voice was hoarse as he asked. He couldn't wait any longer. A ball of rage burned in his heart. He wanted to pinch this kid to death. But even if he died, it wouldn't be able to reduce the rage in his heart. Fight! Zhu Daoshan didn't say much. He hollered and his aura was shocking. He turned into a streak of light and clashed with Lin Wani. Their battle opened up a new domain. Normal people couldn't get close at all, otherwise they would definitely die. General Gang Xiong hollered in rage. His body was covered in flames as he slashed towards Lin Fan. He was really quick, and the space around him was like a wave that was being ripped apart. Zhu Shun blocked Gang Xiong. What do you want to do? Scram. I don't want to kill you. I just want to kill him. Gang Xiong treated Lin Fan as his top target. He didn't need to kill anyone else but him. Dumb. Do you think you can choose who you want to kill? Your brain is filled with SH*T. Lin Fan glanced at Gang Xiong. His words were a little vulgar, but they made sense. There was indeed something wrong with his brain. He didn't want to kill Lin Fan and just wanted to kill him. He then sat on the chair and waved his hands. Teach him how to be a human. His words were a little exaggerated, but such a situation made him reminisce about his rich family days. General Gang Xiong was really strong, and it was due to his ability that he was called the strongest general on land. Zhu Shen laughed. Don't worry, young Master Lin. I will teach him how to be a human today. Shua. The machete in Zhu Shen's hand wasn't an ordinary item. It had been blessed. Other people were blessed by monks, and they might have used their mouths or other parts of their bodies. But his machete was specially used to kill the Alliance. Zhu Shen's aura changed. The machete in his hand shone brightly, and he hollered. Pig slaughtering 18 forms, bloodletting. Rumble. Zhu Shen moved his wrist, and the blade flashed. He disappeared, and an intense battle erupted. The aura was really shocking. Gang Xiong wanted to kill Lin Fan the most. Now that Zhu Shen blocked him, rage surged into the sky. He punched forwards, causing the space around to shake. He, who was known as the invincible god Fist, just wanted to destroy everything in front of him. Lin Fan didn't know what these people from the Alliance had that made them so fearlessly fight with them. Is it love? Or had they been brainwashed? At the scene, he was the youngest, and this battle was not supposed to be fought by a young man like him. It had always been the main battlefield for the middle-aged and elderly. Old Wu and the others blocked the Alliance 9-star generals far away. I'm afraid I won't be able to help in this battle between marshals. He wasn't underestimating himself. That was really the case. The 9-star generals were just too strong. Although they didn't dare to say that heaven and earth were collapsing, they could flip the yin and yang and 5 elements around. Especially the domains that they formed, the situation within was just too terrifying. General Gang Xiong started to pay more attention to Zhu Shen. He wasn't weak, and his fighting style was really fierce. It wasn't something that normal 9-star generals could compare to, but he was unwilling. Everyone, listen up. Find an opportunity to kill this brat for me. He was being held back and definitely couldn't attack, so he could only rely on others. With the current situation, someone would definitely be able to find a chance to charge through the defense line and kill this person. Only then would he be able to vent the rage in his heart. Although Lin Fan seemed really relaxed as he laid there, but he didn't look on coldly as others fought with their lives on the line. He touched his stomach, and a sword seed appeared. With a flick of his fingers, the sword seed shot into the air. He didn't dare to make too many sword seeds. Last time, the Alliance 9-star generals noticed him. If he continued, the outcome would probably be the same. In the distance, the battle was really intense. "Native die," an Alliance expert hollered. His blade was about to land, and he was about to kill a U-City expert. A streak of light swept over. He was so shocked that he didn't dare to be careless and blocked with his blade. With a pung, a terrifying power spread forwards, shattering his blade and stabbing into his body. With a loud explosion, the sword seed exploded. The U-City expert was terrified. Death covered him, and he had no chance of living at all. Who knew that the situation would change, and he would actually be killed? That made him heave a sigh of relief. He then looked towards Lin Fan. "Thank you, young Master Lin." Lin Fan nodded his head as a reply. He felt that it was a waste. He didn't expect that another one would die, and he would lose a portion of rage points. What a waste. With his current strength, he could be said to be really strong. But he was the top target of the Alliance 9-star generals. He didn't dare to guarantee that if he appeared, those 9-star generals wouldn't give up some things to kill him. Other 9-star generals didn't dare to guarantee that. But Gang Xiong would definitely do that. He was probably the one who hated him the most. The sword seed gathered all his sword cultivation, and at the same time, it was his most terrifying move. If he didn't have unlimited true essence, he wouldn't be able to use it so casually. Another sword seed floated out. Lin Fan looked at the situation and realized that another U-City expert was about to be in danger. He flicked his fingers, and the sword seed struck forwards. How long? In the distance, the Alliance expert was about to kill the native, but he didn't expect a terrifying power to strike him. It shocked him so much that his expression changed. The impact of the explosion caused his blood to rumble. If he wasn't slightly stronger, he wouldn't have just been injured. Damn, that was an 8-star general. He locked on a Lin Fan and knew who did it. Lin Fan raised his hand lazily as a form of greeting for the other party. Such actions infuriated the 8-star general, and he felt like Lin Fan was insulting him. "Young Master Lin, amazing." The U-City expert laughed out loud. He was originally at a disadvantage, but who knew that young Master Lin would actually help and strike him? Now, it was time for him to shine. "Go Z, bring some desserts over." Lin Fan shouted. Go Z, who was hiding below, hurriedly replied, "Yes, young master." "Haze, damn, I didn't expect that in the end. I would need to use a sword move." Lin Fan was helpless. He had to admit that the sword move's destructive ability was just too strong. Moreover, it was really fast and strong. It wasn't that he overestimated those sword cultivators, but that they were really strong. Of course, this strength was based on the fact that they had unlimited true essence. If it was someone else, once they took out the sword seed, it would be over. But to Lin Fan, this was just the beginning. Slowly, the 9-star generals noticed what was happening to Lin Fan. "Kill this kid," a 9-star general hollered. They were held back by the U-City expert and couldn't be distracted. So, they could only rely on the 8-star generals to kill him. They couldn't guess how strong this kid was. But his sword cultivation was just too strong. The aura that exploded out was just too terrifying. Even the generals were affected. Based on normal situations, normal people wouldn't be able to use such terrifying moves so frequently. But it seemed like there was no end to it, which terrified them. Gozi carried some exquisite desserts and walked to young master's side. "Young master, do you need a massage?" Lin Fan waved his hands. "There is no need. Continue to hide below." The 8-star generals listened to the 9-star general's orders and tried their best to kill him. But the U-City natives blocked him such that he couldn't do anything at all. Damn, how despicable. Those scenes made him think about something. That was the evil aristocrats. Everyone was protecting this kid, but what was he doing? Oh my God. Who could take a look at what he was doing? He laid there leisurely and sent the exquisite desserts into his mouth. He even nodded his head in enjoyment. Damn, he was actually sucking his fingers. Evil aristocrats. Others were fighting to the death, but he was enjoying it. "You dumb fellow, Look at what the person you're protecting is doing. Is he worth your protection? The 8-star general hollered. Why? Can't young Master Lin eat something? The U-City expert replied. The 8-star general hollered. All of you are risking your lives to fight us, but he is enjoying it so much. Is it worth it? How is it not worth it? If I am hungry, I have to eat. Okay, stop talking nonsense with me. If you want to pass, then you have to step over my dead body. The U-City expert stared at him in rage. Fighting was a common occurrence, and he had many friends who died to the Alliance. No matter what, he could only fight to the death. As expected, you're such a dumb thing. The 8-star general knew that he couldn't reason with him anymore. He looked into the distance. That damn kid was actually smiling at him. Was he provoking him? Damn, he was just too despicable. In the distance, General Gang Xiong hollered in rage. His attacks became more and more intense. He really lived up to his title as the strongest general on land. On the contrary, Zhu Shen wasn't weak either. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the battle between the two was earth-shattering. Instantly, there was a loud explosion and the two of them separated. Fresh blood dripped from Zhu Shen's wrist, and there was a fist mark on the back of the machete. There were many wounds on Gang Xiong's body that were left just now. Who? Gang Xiong panted, and his expression became more and more solemn. The person in front of him was really strong and actually made him feel pressured. A maniacal smile appeared on Zhu Shen's face. His title as the top blade of the imperial dynasty wasn't just for show. Suddenly, a voice spread out from behind him. Zhu Shen, move aside. Lin Fan shouted. With a xiao, a huge vat struck towards Gang Xiong. Zhu Shen was confused and didn't understand what young Master Lin was doing. Pata! Gang Xiong grabbed the vat with one hand and stared at Lin Fan in rage. Kid, don't be happy. I will kill you later. He then clenched his fingers in rage. Pung! The vat shattered. Chapter 338. A soft sound spread out. The 9-star general who was fighting with drunk fragrance pavilion Zhang Sheng used many killing moves. Moreover, Zhang Sheng was fighting 1 against 2 with ease. But to kill these 2 Alliance 9-star generals was just too difficult. But suddenly, the 2 generals stood there in a daze. They were just casually looking at the situation, but they saw everything that Gang Xiong had gone through. This Dwalala! Gang Xiong crushed the vat in rage. The liquid in the vat flowed out and drenched Gang Xiong. A stench surged into his face. Zhu Shen covered his nose and retreated. He then said exaggeratedly, It really stinks. Young Master Lin, is this SH*T again? Lin Fan stood up emotionally. He didn't expect that Gang Xiong would fall for it. Normally, he would smash in the air, but he didn't expect Gang Xiong to actually confidently use his hand to catch it. He even clenched his fingers and crushed the vat. Those scenes were a little shocking. Right? Lin Fan replied. His tone was filled with disbelief. Zhu Shen laughed out loud like he was really excited. SH*T General Gang Xiong? I really didn't see it personally. Now that I have, I am really excited. Lin Fan's desire to live was really strong. This has nothing to do with me. I was only in charge of throwing the vat. You crushed it yourself, so don't blame me. But he knew that Gang Xiong definitely wouldn't take his words to heart. Look at how he was now. He was cold and didn't say a word. He stood there without moving and allowed the dirty water to drip down from his body. To Gang Xiong, the entire sky seemed to have entered a state of silence. This is bad. The 9-star generals on the side of the Alliance were terrified. They knew that since Gang Xiong was drenched in SH*T, his mental state was on the verge of exploding. Every day, he wanted to hammer him to death. Now, he was drenched once more. His mental state might have exploded to the point where it was totally different from before. Gang Xiong lowered his head. His face and body were covered in the extremely dirty liquid. His body trembled, and his breathing gradually became rapid. Instantly, Gang Xiong roared toward the sky. The liquid flowed into his mouth, but it still couldn't stop him from roaring. His eyes opened wide, and blood patterns appeared on the whites of his eyes. He seemed like he had gone mad. The long howl covered the entire battlefield. If one had to choose, which one was more domineering, the aura or the stench? In fact, the stench was more domineering. From Gang Xiong's body, Lin Fan sensed a terrifying and explosive aura. It was the chaotic aura that a person gave off when they were in a frenzied state. If Marshal Gang Xiong's body was wrapped in lightning and his hair stood up, that would be too terrifying. Perhaps he would immediately kneel down and beg for mercy. They shouted for the great Master Saya to spare their lives. Unfortunately, other than Gang Xiong's angry voice being a little loud, he didn't have any frightening characteristics. Zhu Shun, he will depend on you later. Lin Fan shouted. The situation was a little complicated. Looking at how Gang Xiong was acting, it was obvious that if he didn't kill me today, this matter wouldn't end. Zhu Shun's mouth opened wide, and he looked at Lin Fan with a stunned expression. Young Master Lin, how am I supposed to fight him? Lin Fan was a little awkward. It's hard on you. If not, there's nothing I can do. Zhu Shun was helpless, and he even thought about dying. Not to mention how disgusting Gang Xiong looked. Just the stench alone was something normal people couldn't handle. He was really afraid that if he continued to fight Gang Xiong, he would be suffocated to death by the stench. Suddenly, Gang Xiong stopped shouting and stared at Lin Fan with a fierce and furious gaze. His gaze was terrifying, like that of a wild beast staring at him. It is useless for you to stare at me like that. I just threw a vat. You pinched it yourself, so you can't blame anyone else. Lin Fan said. The original situation wasn't like this. At the start, he wanted to use the vat to threaten the Alliance people. He wanted to remind them of the strength of SH*T. At the same time, he wanted them to understand that there were many of such things. If they didn't pay attention to his side, in the blink of an eye, they would be sprayed. But now he was helpless. General Gang Xiong knocked into it himself. So who else could he blame? Zhu Shun looked at Gang Xiong solemnly. Gang Xiong was on the verge of going crazy, and it would be problematic if they fought. He didn't want to touch this person covered in SH*T, but he had to ensure young Master Lin's safety. He definitely couldn't let Gang Xiong break through his defense. Otherwise, if he got close to young Master Lin, the outcome would be catastrophic. Lin Fan didn't like Gang Xiong's gaze. What an annoying gaze. Lin Fan moved his fingers, and the dimension appeared. A new vat appeared, and he pushed forwards. His target was General Gang Xiong. How displeasing. What kind of gaze is that? Do you really think this young master is someone who could be easily frightened by a gaze? What a dream. A shattering sound. Lin Fan found it weird and looked at Gang Xiong in disbelief. Damn, he didn't expect General Gang Xiong to stop dodging. Another vat of SH*T smashed onto his body. At that moment, the area suddenly quieted down like everything was in a state of silence. Why does he keep targeting General Gang Xiong? Is he really not afraid of dying? The Alliance members were all shocked. Many people saw General Gang Xiong being sprayed, but they knew that there was nothing they could do about it. But now, they were truly dumbfounded. A general had a really high status. Now that they were being bullied like that, which general would be able to take it? Zhu Daoshan hollered in rage. Lin Wani, don't you find it disgusting? Lin Wani was shocked by Lin Fan's actions. He didn't expect such a situation to occur. Damn, did this unfilial kid know what he was doing? Scoff, I don't know whether or not it is disgusting. You have to ask Gang Xiong. Lin Wani gave Lin Fan face. Calling him an unfilial kid was a display of love. In front of outsiders, he was really protective of him. Zhu Daoshan took in a deep breath and suppressed the rage in his heart. He really didn't expect that things would become like this. Gang Xiong couldn't suppress it anymore. If he continued, he was really thinking about whether or not Gang Xiong would beat him up too. Actually, he didn't need to think about it, and that was really possible. If this happened to him, he definitely wouldn't be able to take it. Suddenly, something happened in the distance. The Alliance was in chaos. Run! Damn, how can you be so disgusting? SH*T, they are all SH*T. Zhu Daoshan looked into the distance and saw many vats exploding. A sky full of yellow things flew about. Damn! The U-City experts retreated quickly. They were all stunned by those scenes. Damn, why was young Master Lin's attacks so different? It was originally a really depressing battle, but for some reason, it was a little funny. The Alliance experts were a little traumatized by all this. When they saw it once more, they panicked. They didn't want to end up like Gang Xiong. Kid, I will kill you. As expected, General Gang Xiong exploded. It was like he had gone mad and attacked Lin Fan without caring about anything. Wishful thinking. Zhu Shun hollered in rage. He could only bite the bullet. Damn, he was going to fight the sh T-Man later. Just thinking about it terrified him. A light barrier stuck to his body, and he hoped that it could block the sh*T on Gang Xiong's body. Pig killing 18 strokes. Dragon Bone Blade. The blade in Zhu Shan's hand gave off a weird glow. One could see a bone dragon roaring out. With a schwa, a really deep wound appeared on Gang Xiong's body. Zhu Shan was delighted. But at that moment, his hair stood up. He didn't expect that Lin Fan would actually ignore his attacks. Even if he was injured, he didn't care at all. His goal was simple, which was to kill young Master Lin. Not good, Zhu Shan exclaimed. He hollered and struck forwards. If he got close to young Master Lin, then he would really be in trouble. When Lin Wani saw this, he was shocked. He wanted to save him, but Zhu Daoshan stopped him. If you want to save your son, then let's see whether or not you have the ability. Scram! Lin Wani hollered in rage. But how would Zhu Daoshan let him succeed? Scoff, you deserve it. Lin Wani, I told you that I would make you send your son off. Lin Fan looked calmly at Gang Xiong, and a look of disdain appeared on his face. Tisk, if an sh*T-Man like you touched me, I would have to soak in hot water for a long time to wash away the stench on my body. Forget it. I will give you a chance. He was confident that he wouldn't die in Lin Fan's hands. Young Master Lin, move aside. Zhu Shan hollered. Worry appeared on his face. He couldn't catch up. He really couldn't. Gang Xiong was just too quick. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Lin Fan. You dog, I want you to die. Pong. He didn't feel the pain that he expected. Instead, Old Wu pounced over, hugging Gang Xiong and rolling to the side. Zhu Shun, you jerk. Old Wu scolded. If he hadn't reacted quickly and focused on young Master, then what happened next would have been disastrous. Suddenly, Old Wu's hairs stood on their ends, and a terrifying sense of danger struck him. Go to hell. The 9-star general who had been fighting Old Wu took the chance to punch Old Wu. It was obvious that he wanted to use this chance to kill him. Pung! The other party threw a punch, and an extremely muffled sound suddenly erupted. Old Wu opened his eyes wide. He didn't expect young Master to block in front of him. Pooey! Lin Fan frowned. How painful! His blood boiled, and a terrifying power surged through his body. A terrifying energy wave surged from his back and smashed into the ground, ripping it open. Young Master Lin. Zhu Shen was shocked. The machete in his hand stabbed into the 9-star general's back. With a slash, a thin and long wound appeared. Lin Fan raised his hand and slapped his face. Since you punched me, I would slap you first to remember this debt. Recover. The existence of the Blood Demon Reversal technique was indeed monstrous. It could instantly heal his injuries. Zhu Shun hollered in rage and sliced the 9-star general into half. He grabbed Lin Fan's hand and headed towards the city walls. Gang Xiong hollered in rage. A terrifying aura exploded from his body and blew Old Wu away. Zhu Shun, don't worry about me. Go help Old Wu, Lin Fan said. Young Master Lin, then you... Zhu Shun looked over and was shocked. What was going on? Young Master Lin suffered a blow from the 9-star general, and even if he didn't die, he would have been badly injured. But looking at the situation, he didn't look like someone who was injured at all. I am okay. Let's go quickly. Lin Fan waved his hands to tell Zhu Shun to move quickly. It seemed like cultivating the god body to a high level had huge benefits. His life-saving methods were really strong. But without the Blood Demon Reversal technique, he would have died. As expected, it was a practical technique. Chapter 339. As expected, everything changed in the blink of an eye. A 9-star general died, just like that. Lin Fan exclaimed and was filled with disbelief. Each 9-star general was terrifyingly strong. So how could they be so weak? No, it shouldn't have been because he was weak. Zhu Shun was much stronger than this 9-star general. At the same time, the blade pierced his back and sliced him in half. There was definitely a special power that pierced into his body. If he thought about it that way, then there was no problem at all. Kiki, the Alliance has suffered heavy losses. Their first 9-star general has fallen here. What a waste, what a waste. Lin Fan didn't feel anything. Tim, everything was normal, and he didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it. Gang Xiong was infuriated. He was so close to killing this kid. But who would have thought that someone would spoil his plan? He looked at Old Wu and hollered. A berserk aura exploded out, and hot steam spread out from his body. Die! A scorching glow exploded from Gang Xiong's fist as he punched towards Old Wu. The aura was just too terrifying. Cracks appeared in the space around his arm. At the same time, the space shook and ripples spread out like waves. There was a gap between Old Wu's cultivation and General Gang Xiong's. Especially when Gang Xiong was in a frenzied state, the power that exploded out reached an extremely terrifying level. Old Wu's expression was solemn. He couldn't block that fist, but even then, he couldn't retreat. How long? At that moment, Zhu Shun held the machete and slashed forwards. The blade clashed with Gang Xiong's fist and caused a terrifying shockwave. Zhu Shun's machete had 4 finger marks on it. Old brother Wu, you have to compensate me. Zhu Shun felt pained and wanted to cry. He didn't expect the machete to be so weak. The shockwave swept Old Wu's 2 sides and blew his long hair. 2 long motes appeared on the ground behind him. The shockwaves from a battle between experts were extraordinary. What is the point of saying all this at such a time? Old Wu stepped forwards and fled. The stench on his body made him feel helpless, but it didn't matter. To save young master, it was worth it even if he had to sacrifice something. Zhu Shin didn't let him off. Don't think about bluffing me so easily. Once this ends, you have to compensate me. But this isn't a loss. I just killed an Alliance 9-star general, and this is a lesson to them. Bang! Gang Xiong punched Zhu Shin away and hollered in rage. His eyes became redder and redder, and even his body started to give off a red mist. His anger had reached the pinnacle, and even his blood was boiling. What a troublesome fellow. Zhu Shin didn't dare to be careless. Apart from Zhu Daoshan, Gang Xiong was the most terrifying. If he wasn't strong enough, he would have been crushed. Old Wu looked at the guy who had been cut in half, and a smile appeared on his face. Well done. He had finally killed an Alliance 9-star general. This was a huge blow to the Alliance. Zhu Daoshan saw one of the Alliance's 9-star generals being killed mercilessly and hollered in rage. Lin Wani, the Alliance will fight you to the death. Lin Wani chuckled and said, You speak as if we didn't fight to the death in the past. You don't want to fight, but I want to kill you. Well done. No matter how many 8-star generals died, it wasn't as exciting as the death of a 9-star general. After noticing that the unfilial kid was fine, he heaved a sigh of relief. He was just messing around and nearly lost his life. Once this ended, he was going to teach this kid a lesson. Young master, how could you fight a 9-star general head-on? If anything happened to you, even if I killed you, I wouldn't be able to save you. Old Wu said. At the same time, he was touched. He didn't expect young master to block in front of him, but he really wanted to ask, what happened just now? Could it be that the 9-star general was a fake? Looking at young master's appearance, he was perfectly fine. There was only a hole in the front of his chest and nothing else. Old Wu, this smell is a little pungent, Lin Fan said. At this moment, in Lin Fan's heart, Old Wu was a true hero. Don't tell him that killing many 9-star generals was a hero. Compared to Old Wu, who dared to push a SH*T person aground, they were just little brothers. Old Wu looked at Lin Fan like he wanted to say that he was doing this for young master. Did he really think that he wanted to pounce on him? He had no choice. Young master, you can't blame me. Old Wu wasn't young, but his heart was still young. Thinking back to when he roamed the world with old master, he had done all sorts of despicable things, but he had never experienced something like this. He might not have faced such a situation even in a few lifetimes. Just at that moment, Zhu Xin shouted, "Old brother Wu, if you are fine then come and help. This fellow is crazy." Gang Xiong was about to go mad. He suffered twice in a row and it impacted his willpower. No matter whether or not he had an invincible heart, when he faced such a thing, he was pretty much on the verge of collapsing. Gang Xiong's mental state was decent. The first time he faced such a situation, his mental state exploded, but he still bore with it. But the second time was like a landmine exploding right away. It totally infuriated Gang Xiong. He didn't care about Zhu Xin at all. I just wanted to kill Lin Fan. "I am coming." Old Wu turned into a streak of light and slashed towards Gang Xiong. Gang Xiong was injured, and when he took Zhu Shan's blade head-on, he was already injured. Now that Old Wu and Zhu Shan worked together, they restricted Gang Xiong. One had to say that Gang Xiong was really strong. Even then, he wasn't at a disadvantage. He wanted to find a chance to kill Lin Fan. But unfortunately, he only had one chance. If he missed it, then he would have really missed it. There definitely wouldn't be a second chance. The Alliance was in a mess. They were attacked by SH*T and didn't dare to get close. Some of the Alliance members were covered in SH*T and their faces were ashen white. Some people who were clean freaks wanted to take off their clothes and wash their bodies with clean water. But there were some overbearing people. The Alliance members who felt that they were experts didn't care about the SH*T on their bodies when they faced the U-City experts. They smiled evilly and licked their lips. "All of you are dead." Ugh! Those scenes shocked many people and caused them to vomit. To them, this fellow was just retarded. That was just too disgusting. He could even do such actions, and he was really familiar with them. Most of the U-City experts felt a chill down their spines. "Young Master Lin, your move is really beautiful, but it is just too vicious. All of us are going to be dragged down. Gang Xiong, you bastard, just wait to be sent to the Alliance Court." Zhu Daoshan hollered in rage. He pressed down with his palms, and the sky turned red. Numerous meteor-like red balls landed with long tails. Lin Wani waved the halberd in his hand, and a light exploded from the tip. Many golden dragons roared out and clashed with the red meteors, giving off an eye-catching glow. Zhu Daoshan was furious. Such a thing shouldn't have happened. But all this was because Gang Xiong made a decision and caused chaos on the battlefield. The enemy had a chance to make the Alliance lose a 9-star general. When Gang Xiong, who was in a frenzy, heard Zhu Daoshan's words, his body shook. But very quickly, he came back to his senses. Since that was the case, then what else was there to say? He had already lost a 9-star general, so he had to get a bigger reward. "You bunch of bastards, I'm going to kill all of you." Gang Xiong hollered in rage. He didn't care about the injuries on his body at all. Instead, because of his injuries, Gang Xiong looked even more berserk. He was like a demon that had returned from the abyss. Gang Xiong stepped on the ground with a vicious expression on his face. Power spread out. Battle the sky. A thick word filled with the power of heaven and earth exploded out from Gang Xiong. There was a loud explosion. The earth was trembling, as if a giant was constantly trampling on it. The earth quaked and the mountains swayed. Popping sounds rang out incessantly as cracks appeared on the ground. Each crack was really deep, and one couldn't see what was deep within. It was like it was connected to the abyss. Zhu Shan, his aura is rising too quickly. He's going to fight to the death. Old Wu said solemnly. It was impossible for the strongest 9-star general of the Alliance to not have some skill. It seems like Gang Xiong is going to fight us to the death. But it's okay. If he wants to, then I will fight with him. Let's see who wins. Zhu Xin's expression was solemn, and he didn't fear anything at all. The sound of things swelling up spread out. His right hand that was holding the machete swelled to twice its original size, and he pointed it towards the sky. Wong. The space shook and the power of heaven and earth gathered over. A terrifying aura wrapped around Zhu Xin's body. Zila. Two terrifying forces were colliding. Gang Xiong raised his head. His eyes were cold and filled with rage as he hollered, "Invincible." This shout was really loud, like all the power in his body was exploding out. Hung long. An aura pillar charged into the sky. The pillar destroyed the ground and formed a deep hole. This power was just too terrifying. Zhu Daoshan frowned and then relaxed. Lin Wani, Gang Xiong has gone mad. This power will definitely kill one of you. If you want to die, then all of you will die. Don't think about taking advantage of us. Lin Wani knew that he wasn't lying. With the aura that Gang Xiong gave off, it wasn't so easy to block. Between Zhu Shun and Brother Wu, one of them would definitely die. Zhu Daoshan felt that Lin Wani's attacks were getting stronger and stronger. He laughed. You want to save them? Stop dreaming. With me here, you can forget about going anywhere. Just watch them die. Gang Xiong hollered in rage and continued to accumulate terrifying power. Suddenly, a yellow waterfall descended from the sky and poured onto Gang Xiong's body once more. Lin Fan controlled the vat to float above Gang Xiong's head. He then tilted it and the liquid inside poured down. Uproar. Gang Xiong was stunned and looked at Lin Fan with a stunned expression. His expression of disbelief was really obvious. Maybe even he didn't expect that. Don't look at me like that. I just saw that you were a little angry and wanted to cool you down. But don't blame me. There is no water source around, so I can only make do with this. Lin Fan was really calm and felt really helpless. It was like he was talking about something really normal. Gang Xiong still hadn't reacted. He only had one thought in his mind. This was the third time. The U City experts all looked at Lin Fan like they wanted to ask young Master Lin, was there really a need to grab onto Gang Xiong? It was easy to make one collapse. P.S. Thank you, Guild Master Wenzai. Thank you. Chapter 340. Young Master, Old Wu was speechless and didn't know what to say. They all saw how furious Gang Xiong was, and even they were shocked by Gang Xiong's gaze. Maybe one could say that his gaze wasn't that of a human. It was the gaze of an infuriated beast. Lin Fan smiled. His smile was really calm, and he didn't care much about this at all. Maybe to him, even if Gang Xiong was so furious that the sky collapsed, it didn't have much to do with him. There were only two situations. Either he had balls to fight him, otherwise he would just suck it up and leave with his tail between his legs. Lin Wani, your son is just too much. Zhu Daoshan hollered. He couldn't take it anymore. He thought that Gang Xiong was someone who couldn't suppress the rage in his heart. But looking at the situation, he knew that no one would be able to take it unless they had brain problems. Ha ha, too much. Your alliance is as dumb as a pig. So who can you blame? Zhu Daoshan, your alliance can forget about breaking into U City. As for all of you staying here, I can ensure that all of you will be wiped out. Lin Wani hollered in rage. He shouted in his heart, good kid, well done. But his gaze towards Lin Fan was like, you unfilial kid, you're finished when you go back. As expected, just like what Lin Fan thought, his father wasn't good at expressing his emotions. Was it really so hard to admit that someone was amazing? My chance is here. Zhu Shin saw that Gang Xiong was stunned and knew that his chance had arrived. He waved his arm and a mysterious power wrapped around the machete. This power was really foreign to Lin Fan. If he had to describe it, maybe this was the power of the Tao. At that moment, Zhu Shun slashed down with his blade and the entire area turned gray. It was as if a streak of light had turned the originally clear sky cloudy. Shocking, it was just too shocking. This power is too terrifying. Lin Fan looked on expressionlessly. He sensed how terrifying this power was. No wonder he couldn't beat the 9-star generals. There was a gap in strength. Gang Xiong, who was stunned and furious, was shocked when he sensed this power. He raised his head and noticed that the blade light pierced through the sky and locked down all his paths of retreat. Damn! Gang Xiong hollered in rage and took it head on. Rumble! A shocking rumble resounded throughout heaven and earth. The machete in Zhu Shan's hand was wrapped in an eye-catching glow. Gang Xiong blocked with his bare hands. You dog! Move your *T-covered hands away. Let me kill you with one blade. Gang Xiong's face was filled with rage. He could even say such shameless words. If he let go, then he would be the one to die. Anyone with a brain would know what to do. A terrifying shockwave spread out with the two of them at the center, causing the surrounding space to distort. Is the battle prowess of cultivating one's physical body really so terrifying? Old Wu muttered to himself. He knew that Gang Xiong cultivated his physical body, but this was just too terrifying. Zhu Shun's strongest move caught him off guard. Who knew that Gang Xiong would be able to block it? Although he was at a disadvantage, he wasn't in any danger at all. Lin Fan furrowed his brows. The shock wave that was formed between the two of them wasn't something that just anyone could take part in. Even he was in a precarious situation. If he was the slightest bit careless, he might lose his life here. Suddenly, a sense of danger struck him. He looked into the distance and saw a weird giant thing appear. From afar, it looked really high-tech. Cannon? Although he didn't know what it was, the Alliance members were injecting something into it. Look, what is that? Lin Fan reminded everyone. The U-City experts who were fighting were shocked when they saw the item, young Master Lin. That is the Alliance's weapon. It can shoot out light pillars that are really strong and can even kill domain realm experts. Lin Fan knew that the Alliance's technology level was really high, but he didn't expect it to be so high. But if the Alliance had such a weapon, they wouldn't even need manpower to attack. They just needed to prepare a few hundred or a few thousand, and they would be able to destroy everything. Based on the situation before, it might have been because the weapon required a huge amount of energy and couldn't fire so many times. Now wasn't the time to think about all this. He felt a sense of danger. Moreover, the cannon was aimed right at him. Damn, who did he offend? Why did he have to shoot him out of all people? What happened to him? Old Wu blocked in front of Lin Fan. Young Master, leave. You can't stay here. What do you mean? Lin Fan didn't understand. Old Wu said solemnly, I have experienced this weapon before, and its range is really wide. Although I don't know whether or not I can block it, it is best if you leave and don't stay here. In the distance, the Alliance tech members injected energy into it, and their expressions were really vicious. Damn fellow, who asked you to use sh*T to water us? I will blast you to death with one cannon. They didn't choose any other target and just stared at Lin Fan. They wanted to kill him. Lin Fan didn't leave. Refresh. The bug controlling technique's special true essence spread out. Gather. Gather crazily. Gather all the insects in the surroundings together. Under the buff of his special true essence, numerous bugs started to mutate. They were at least several times stronger than before. Charge. In the depths of the ground, numerous bugs sped about. The mud was like tofu in front of them. The researchers controlling the weapons were all very young. They were all in their 30s or 40s. Their mouths were full of profanities as they operated and cursed at the same time. Damn, I will blast you to death. Damn, I want you to die without a single corpse left. On the control platform, the energy display gave out a beeping sound. It is full. Charge complete. Okay, don't aim anywhere, just aim at that fellow. The researchers were really excited. This was the weapon they specialized in researching. At the same time, it was to prove to those Alliance experts that technology could easily destroy them. Fire. The researcher hollered and pressed the button. A buzzing sound spread out. A bright ball of light floated at the mouth of the cannon, and it felt like particles were being attracted over. How long? A light pillar exploded out. It was really quick, and it felt like it exceeded the speed of sound. No, it was even faster than the speed of sound, so quick that one couldn't react at all. Suddenly, the ground caved in. "Oh damn!" Exclamations spread out. The base of the cannon was unstable, and it caved in. The muzzle tilted, and the path of the light pillar changed. Some Alliance experts were at the back and looked around warily. Their battle with the U-City natives was too intense, so they split up and didn't continue to fight. They were waiting for the 9-star generals and Gang Xiong situation. Instantly, they sensed that the space behind them was a little off. They turned around. Damn! The light pillar covered them, and there was no reaction at all. The researcher who had caved and climbed up and looked at the situation in the distance. His eyes opened wide and his face was ashen white, No, Lin Wani, the Alliance won't lose this battle. All of you will have to pay the price for your rejection. Zhu Daoshan said. Lin Wani didn't know what that meant. Maybe that was what the Alliance dogs usually said. Scoff, we won't lose? Look at your situation. Your losses are worse than ours. They had suffered huge losses in this battle. But the Alliance's losses were the most terrifying. U City also sacrificed many experts. This was something that no one could accept. But U City was prepared to die. This wasn't their fate, but their choice. Since they stayed in U City, they had already chosen their future path. There's no point in talking so much. Lin Wani, today I will fight you to the death. Let's see how long you can last. Zhu Daoshan hollered in rage. He was much older than Lin Wani, and he knew that Lin Wani was a peerless expert among the natives, as well as the most talented person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to fight with him to such a degree despite their age difference. If he was given time, Zhu Daoshan didn't think that he could restrict him. True perverts didn't listen to reason. Lin Wani was one of those unreasonable people. Suddenly, Zhu Daoshan frowned and felt that something wasn't right. He noticed that Lin Wani was smiling. That smile was really cunning. Not good. Something was definitely wrong. Behind him, Zhu Daoshan turned his head and slapped. But when he saw the light pillar, he was stunned and dodged right away. Oh. The light pillar charged into the sky and left a long tail. ZZ. It sounded like meat being barbecued. He lowered his head and saw that his entire right arm was covered in black smoke. He dodged really quickly, but he was still a little too slow. He clenched his fingers, and his right arm was wrapped up in light and slowly recovered. Not good. He realized that Lin Wani had disappeared in front of him and then appeared below. His halberd pierced a person, and that figure was Marshal Gang Xiong. Gulialu. General Gang Xiong didn't die, but he spat out blood from his mouth. His eyes were open wide like he didn't expect this to happen. To Lin Wani and Zhu Daoshan, any mistake would result in an irreversible outcome. General Gang Xiong was in a tragic state. He fought against Zhu Shun and was slowly starting to fight back. Who knew that a light would sweep him? When he came back to his senses, he realized that his chest was pierced. He looked at the person and didn't expect it to be Lin Wani. He knew that he was finished. If it was any other general, he might have been able to survive. But since he fell into Lin Wani's hands, he had no chance at all. Ha! General Zhu, the heavens, the Alliance really didn't want you to win. Lin Wani laughed. He didn't expect that the Alliance would actually help him. That was really unexpected. Zhu Daoshan's expression was really ugly, and his face was so dark and sunken. Lin Wani, release Gang Xiong. Zhu Daoshan hollered. Lin Wani laughed, and then retracted his smile. His arm shook, and with a pung, Gang Xiong, who was pierced by the halberd, was ripped into pieces. He was dead. No! Zhu Daoshan hollered in a heartbreaking manner. Lin Wani stabbed the halberd into the ground, and his voice was like thunder. Alliance, listen up. Today, your sixth general has fallen here. If you dare to come again, you will be killed. The aura formed by the word kill was really terrifying. It caused the Alliance experts to feel dizzy. It was too terrifying, really too terrifying. Was this the native that the Alliance headquarters wanted to get rid of? Gang Xiong, the strongest land general in the Alliance. Who knew that he would die here? Who would have believed it? If they hadn't personally witnessed it, no one would have dared to believe it. Lin Wani was like a war god. He stood tall, and his long hair danced in the wind. As expected, he was handsome. His education level was a little low, and he didn't even graduate from primary school. But that didn't affect his aura. As long as one was strong, one's aura would naturally stand out. Lin Fan thought back to something that Lu Sun said. When one had money, 90% of one's worries would be gone. One's IQ and EQ would be greatly increased. But the key was that Lu Sun didn't say where the money was. Father was in such a situation now. The battlefield was silent and a little suppressed. The morale of the Alliance members was really low. They had lost 2 9-star generals in one battle, and that was something unimaginable, especially when General Zhu was there to restrict Lin Wani. Who would dare to believe that? No one dared to believe it. Shua. Zhu Daoshan looked behind him with a dark and cold gaze. That was where the researchers were at. The researchers were stunned until now. They didn't understand what had happened. Why did such a thing happen? They sensed the furious gazes and fearfully headed forwards. As expected, it was General Zhu's gaze. They wanted to argue for themselves that they were innocent and that they didn't do it on purpose. It was all because the ground wasn't hard enough and collapsed. How could they be blamed for that? General Zhu moved his lips. Other people couldn't hear it, but there was a thunderous roar in their heads. Just wait to be executed. How long? The researchers sat on the ground and beads of sweat dripped down their faces. Since General Zhu said that, then they had no way out. At that moment, Lin Fan controlled the bugs, and they slowly merged together. They became bigger and bigger, and then pounced towards the cannon. They covered it and formed a ball shape. They then rolled towards them. What? The researchers panicked. Someone dared to steal from right under their noses. Suddenly, someone shouted loudly, "General, it is him. It is all because of him. It has nothing to do with us." The Alliance experts looked at the rolling black ball and hollered, "Stop it." Lin Fan obviously wouldn't let them. Special True Essence was free. Many bugs spread out from the black ball, and they charged towards the sky without fear of death. They then formed into all sorts of creatures, scythes, fists, etc. But in the eyes of these experts, bugs were small and weak. They were easily crushed to death. When Zhu Daoshan saw that, he didn't stop it. He just looked at Lin Wani with rage in his eyes. To him, these *T scientific weapons would only kill his own people. If he hadn't dodged, Lin Wani wouldn't have had a chance, and General Gang Xiong wouldn't have died. Lin Wani, listen up. I won't let you off in my life. Zhu Daoshan said coldly. Lin Wani smiled in disdain. Come, I will wait. 6 9-star generals. These were 6 9-star generals. Forget about the first 4. They didn't expect Lin Wani to be so bold as to counterattack. As for the last 2, they shouldn't have died, especially General Gang Xiong. His sacrifice was a huge blow to the Alliance. It was just too difficult for another 9-star general like Gang Xiong to appear. We are here. Lin Fan smiled. He was really curious about the Alliance's weapon, and it was worth studying. Although some people tried to stop him, he was safe, and luckily, nothing happened. But if Zhu Daoshan and the other 9-star generals attacked, this thing wouldn't have been able to come so easily. Maybe it would have been destroyed. He didn't expect that Zhu Daoshan and the others didn't stop him. Was it because of the situation just now, which made them angry at the weapon? So, they didn't care? That was possible. Retreat. Zhu Daoshan raised his hand, and the Alliance members retreated like a wave. They came aggressively, but retreated like dogs that had lost their homes. Old Wu exclaimed, "This battle was too dangerous, but luckily we won." It was indeed too dangerous. There were many times when his life was in danger, but they were all solved. Maybe he was just too lucky. My machete. Zhu Shen wanted to cry, but no tears came out. The machete in his hand was so broken that he wanted to die. It shouldn't have ended up like this, but he had no choice as the enemy was a little strong. Old Zhang, you have to take the blame. If you weren't careless, my machete wouldn't have ended up like this. Zhang Sheng's mouth was agape as he looked at Zhu Shen. Scram. Damn, did he really think that the old man was easy to bully? What did it have to do with him? Gang Xiong wasn't his match, and you were the one who restricted him. Father, I'm still okay, right? Lin Fan smiled and took the initiative to praise him. Lin Wani's face was cold. I will tell you when we return. His tone was a little unfriendly. Aya, what happened? I didn't make you angry. But forget it. Even if he was angry, he had gained so much this time. He had to go back and improve. Lin Fan didn't leave and just listened to Old Wu and the others report the situation. He pricked up his ears and secretly listened. According to the situation, the losses should be very small, and he did not feel that many people had died. Old Master, we lost 8 domain realm experts, 48 yin-yang realm, 31 5-element realm, 53 void realm, and we haven't counted the God Essence realm, but it might have exceeded 100. Old Wu said solemnly. Although this was much less than in the past, no matter what, those who died were people they were familiar with. They were comrades who had been in U City for over 20 years. Remember their names and bury them. Lin Wani said solemnly. Yes, Old Wu replied, and brought people to clean up the battlefield. Lin Fan looked at his father's back view and realized that his aura was a little off. He gave off a dangerous aura. Luckily, who was going to be unlucky? Lin Wani stood there and sent off those who died. Their deaths weren't worth it, but it was for the greater good. Many familiar faces disappeared from his eyes. Alliance. It was totally silent. No one spoke, and no one dared to speak. The researchers lowered their heads and didn't dare to look at one another. They caused a huge problem. Accidentally injuring General Zhu was a small matter, but they had killed many Alliance experts. Many members looked at the researchers in rage. If not for them, such a thing wouldn't have happened. Because of their mistakes, the Alliance suffered heavy losses. Even an expert like Marshal Gang Xiong perished in the other party's hands. Apart from Zhu Daoshen, the remaining 11 generals didn't say anything. The rage in their hearts was no less than that of the others. Damn, it is an honor to die to the natives, but I didn't expect to die to our own people. A 9-star general hollered in rage. He had spoken out everyone's thoughts. That was indeed the case. If they died to the natives, they wouldn't be so furious. They would just turn their rage into strength. At that moment, those researchers were pulled out. General, please spare us. This has nothing to do with us. It was all done by that native. The researchers who controlled the particle beam cannon were all crying. They really thought that it was their fault, but they realized that it wasn't their fault. It was all done by that native, and it had nothing to do with them. Shut up. Zhu Daoshen hollered in rage and looked at them with a dark and sunken gaze. Your actions have caused us huge losses. All of you have to die. Otherwise, we won't be able to calm down. The researchers were terrified. They were finished. They were really finished. It was obvious that they were going to be used to vent their anger. General Zhu, we are from the Alliance Research Office. You have no right to decide our life and death. A researcher said fiercely. His position in the research team was slightly higher, and he was one of the Alliance's researchers. He knew that Zhu Daoshen wanted them to die, so there was no point in saying anything. Why not just fight him head-on? Pucci. Suddenly, this researcher covered his neck, and large amounts of blood flowed down from his fingers. This scene caused everyone to tremble in fear. Those researchers who knelt on the ground looked at Zhu Daoshen in terror. Some of them raised their trembling fingers like they wanted to ask, how dare he? But the moment those words reached their throats, they swallowed them. Zhu Daoshen said, I don't need to say how he died. Everyone understood. In such a situation, even if he died, he would just die for nothing. When they reported the situation to the Alliance headquarters, it caused a huge uproar. 2 9-star generals died in this battle. What were they saying? It was like they didn't understand. Gang Xiong, who was known as the strongest 9-star general on land, also died there. When they found out about the situation, no one dared to believe it. No one even chose to believe it. The people from the Alliance headquarters were in an awkward position. They definitely couldn't take the blame for this. Moreover, they couldn't. This was a form of disdain and suspicion towards what they had researched. Moreover, the fact that the particle beam cannon was taken by the natives infuriated the Alliance headquarters. Lin Wani's name became a target that the Alliance headquarters had to kill. It was fine if anyone didn't die, but he had to. But an even more terrifying thing happened. What happened at U City was actually spread out on the public platform. This had a huge impact. Even if the Alliance headquarters wanted to control the spread, it was too late. On the streets of the various cities, people started to doubt and panic towards the war. At the same time, there were those who wanted peace. They wanted to live peacefully with the people of rich land. But at that time, the war cries within the Alliance rose up and they were suppressed. Especially when they broke through Maigu City, it made all those who wanted to fight excited. It was as if victory had arrived. But now, U City's loss allowed them to find a breakthrough point. They called for peace and didn't want more casualties. Chapter 341. Guangwu College, one of the top schools in the Alliance, and took in many outstanding students. At least 10% of the 9-star generals came from Gwangwoo College. This was why Gwangwoo College had a really high position in the alliance. Deputy Principal's office. At that moment, the deputy principal was in his office. With a pung, someone pushed open the door and entered. He was really anxious and rushed to his desk. Deputy Principal, I want to head to the border defense. The vice headmaster was originally angry, but when he saw who it was, he said helplessly, "What are you doing there? Cultivating in the academy is the most important thing for you right now. That's not a place you can go." "No, my master was killed by the natives there. No matter what, I have to go." The news spread long ago that Alliance General Gang Xiong died at the border. This was a huge blow to the Alliance. This student was the disciple that Gang Xiong took in. After learning that his master was killed, his thoughts were really simple. He just wanted to take revenge for his master, and he didn't have any other thoughts. I understand how you feel, but the situation there isn't something you can control. You are too weak, and even if you go there, you'll just be asking to die. The Alliance headquarters won't let General Gang Xiong die for nothing. Go to class. The deputy principal didn't want to say anything more and definitely wouldn't allow him to leave Gwangwoo College. This was because D. Kai was a genius of Gwangwoo College. If he calmed himself down, he would definitely become a 9-star general. But if he went to the border defense now, he would just be asking to die. D. Kai was unwilling. Seeing that the deputy principal focused on his work and didn't care about him, he knew that it was impossible for the college to allow him to head there. He walked into college. He was really depressed. General Gang Xiong was his master and was like a father to him. Now that he died at the border defense, if he couldn't take revenge for his master, he wouldn't be able to accept it. He clenched his fists tightly, and his expression was really dark and sunken. When the students passed by, saw D. Kai's expression, they quickly avoided him. Don't offend him. His master was killed by the natives at the border defense. General Gang Xiong is known as the strongest land general in the alliance. So how could he die? The natives aren't easy to offend. Don't have a sense of superiority, otherwise we will just die. If the natives weren't strong, then we wouldn't have fought them for so long. D. Kai was very popular in the academy. Because he was tall, mighty, and handsome, he was very popular with the girls. But now, when someone came within a few meters of D. Kai, they would be shrouded by a gloomy aura, making them panic. The students on both sides of the road all locked their gazes on D. Kai. No one came near. No one said a word. On the street outside the academy, a group of people were holding banners, and, at the same time, there were flyers placed on a table. A man said as he handed out leaflets to passers-by, "I think that the Alliance should coexist peacefully with the people of the rich lands and not invade them through war. Both the Alliance and the rich lands will suffer great losses. I'm a research student in the rich land. I have interacted with the people of the rich land who have been captured. They don't want war to break out either. All the wars were started by the Alliance headquarters. We need peace so we can communicate with the people of the rich land and trade with them." The people who passed by were all Alliance citizens, and they paid close attention to the border battle. Many of their children were students of the academy, or maybe he was working at the Alliance headquarters. Therefore, many people were in favor of peaceful coexistence. Bang! Just at that moment, D. Kai kicked the table over and the leaflets scattered all over the floor. He grabbed the collar of the guy who was distributing the leaflets and said with red eyes, "Many Alliance people are bleeding on the front lines, and you scum are actually trying to mislead them. Who are you? How are we misleading the masses with our lies? War will only increase the misery of the people," retorted the man who was distributing the leaflets. More and more people came over and started to whisper, "Look at that person's attire. He looks like a student from Gwangwoo College." No, he is from Gwangwoo College. The commotion attracted many people. D. Kai really wanted to beat them up. Peaceful coexistence? Then, wouldn't his master have died for nothing? But very quickly, Gwangwoo College students passed by, and at the same time, they recognized D. Kai. They pulled him down and told him not to fight. These were just normal people. If they did, there would be casualties. Be it D. Kai or Gwangwoo College, it would have a bad effect. The guy who pulled Dekai away was also a student of Guangwu College. His father was the dean of Guangwu College and was in charge of all the factions in the college. Dekai, don't be so rash. If something happens, it won't do you any good. Lin's son wasn't as handsome as Dekai, but he was really sharp and had an aura that Dekai didn't have. I know that your master Gang Xiong died at the border, but you have to remember that a peaceful faction has appeared within the alliance. If not, do you think these normal people have the ability to spread news? Lin Sen's family was at the top and knew many things that no one else knew. I just want to take revenge for my master and kill all these natives. Dekai's voice was really weak, but it was filled with rage and endless killing intent. Lin's son said, "If you want, then team up with us. Recently, I've already contacted a few geniuses in the academy, and we're preparing to go to Maigu City. From there, we'll enter the rich land. Are you willing to go?" "If you want to go, I can bring you along." "Maigu City? Why not Yu City?" Dekai asked. What he wanted to head to the most was Yu City. Only there would he be able to meet those annoying natives who killed his master. Lin's son shook his head. "Not Yu City. That place is too dangerous. If we go there with our strength, we are just asking to die. Now that the Alliance has broken through Maigu City, it is the safest place to enter the rich land. I've heard that there are many opportunities in the rich lands. We're all geniuses of the Academy, and according to the data, we're all people with great luck. Once we get there, we'll definitely reap great rewards. This is an opportunity for both of us. However, if you really want to go, then you have to promise me to listen to orders and not be rash." Lin's son had high hopes for Dekai and hoped that he could bring more reliable people over so that they could take care of one another. But Dekai was too rash and easily caused problems. If he couldn't change his temper, then even if he had high hopes for him, he wouldn't bring him over. Dekai kept silent like he was thinking about something. "Okay, I promise you." Without going through the procedures, he wouldn't be able to head to the border. But Lin's son was the son of the dean and had a high status. It wouldn't be a problem for him to complete the procedures. At the same time, he wanted to head out to train with the other geniuses of the college. He even wanted to see what kind of improvements they would make. Alliance headquarters. All the higher-ups were gathered here. This was the place that represented the highest authority in the Alliance. On the giant projection screen, there was a fixed portrait. The person on the screen was Lin Fan, carrying the vat. Perhaps they had already come up with some kind of plan just now, and it was specifically used to deal with Lin Fan. "Old Master, didn't you notice that the war situation has unknowingly changed?" Old Wu said. He thought about it and felt that there was a possibility. There were only the two of them in the room. After this battle, the Alliance would stop for a while. After all, they had suffered heavy losses, and he didn't believe that they would continue to attack. Lin Wani was confused. What change? Old Wu said, "Old Master, after Young Master returned, didn't you feel that we were slowly gaining the upper hand? This has never happened before." That was indeed the case. Before Young Master returned, their conflict with the Alliance was one where both sides lost their core strength. If such a situation continued, with the endless support from the Alliance, unless Yu City had new blood, one day they would be dragged to death by the Alliance. At that time, they would be the only ones left, and they wouldn't be able to stop the Alliance. But now the situation was changing, especially after today's battle. 2 9-star generals died here, and they didn't pay a high price. At most, Zhu Shun's machete was slightly damaged. Lin Wani frowned. "Brother Wu, what you mean is that unfilial kid can still help after he returns?" "Old Master, that is what I mean. Young Master naturally can't fight 9-star generals, but his methods to deal with the Alliance are really something normal people can't imagine." Old Wu wanted to say that was not something a human could do. But thinking about it, wasn't that his Young Master? He couldn't say that he wasn't a human, right? Not to mention the Alliance. Even when he saw Young Master use sh*t to water the Alliance, he felt disgusted. As for pouncing on Gang Xiong, that was because it concerned Young Master. If it was someone else, he wouldn't care so much. He couldn't let sh*t touch him, right? Lin Wani didn't agree. This is the hard work of all the U City experts. What does it have to do with that kid? Old Wu said, Old Master, no matter whether you admit it or not, it is the truth. They all said the same thing. If young Master hadn't angered Gang Xiong, he wouldn't have had the chance to kill him. Gang Xiong's death dealt a huge blow to the alliance. After all, he was the strongest land 9-star general and was much stronger than the other 9-star generals. It was the same as breaking the alliance's wings, such that they wouldn't do anything too extreme in the near future. Old Master had no choice but to admit it. Young Master was really amazing, so amazing that he was a little too amazing. At the same time, he had many secrets. Young Master was hit by a 9-star general and was actually perfectly fine. Just thinking about it, one could sense that there was definitely a problem with this. How could he be perfectly fine? Even if all of you say that, I still have to find trouble with this kid. He actually used such disgusting methods, he just lost my face. You can leave, I will go talk to that kid. Lin Wani finally understood why this kid couldn't find a wife. So this was the reason. It was too disgusting and caused others to dislike him. Chapter 342. Young Master, what is this? Go Zi and Lin Fan squatted in front of the particle beam cannon and looked around. They even touched it carefully. Their hearts felt cold, and it gave off a mysterious feeling. They didn't dare to use too much strength, as they were afraid that they would damage young Master's spoils of war. This is a cannon, a really strong one, Lin Fan said. He was also thinking about how to use this thing. They took up more than half of the room. He couldn't throw it away. He had witnessed the might of this weapon with his own eyes. A single blast from it was truly terrifying. Not to mention a yin-yang realm cultivator. Even a domain realm cultivator would be reduced to ashes. It was just too terrifying. Gozi looked at it for a while and didn't understand what was so special about it. Since young Master said that it was a good thing, then it was a good thing. If I can understand how to use this cannon, it will be of great help. Lin Fan said. He continued to think about it, but was still unable to understand it. Although the Alliance's technology wasn't foreign to him, it was just too high-end. He was just a normal person, so how could he understand such a high-level weapon so easily? But it was okay. If he didn't understand it, then forget it. Anyway, he had time. He still had to raise his cultivation. The rage points he accumulated this time were a little explosive. Old Master. Gozi saw Old Master walk over and got up right away. Lin Fan turned around and realized that his father was here. He smiled. Father, look at this. This is a weapon from the Alliance. It is a little interesting, but I don't know how to use it. Lin Wani looked at the unfilial kid. He had many things to say, but all of a sudden, he didn't know what to say. Actually, he was really happy deep down. In the past, when Lin Fan was in U City, Lin Wani nearly fainted from anger. Who knew that after going out for a period of time, he would give him such a huge surprise? Amazing. He was really amazing. But he wouldn't say it out loud. What if this kid became arrogant? This was why he had to teach him a lesson. Lin Wani looked at the black and weird thing in front of him. It would be a lie if he didn't say that he was really curious. He muttered to himself that this kid was quite skilled to actually be able to snatch this from the Alliance. He knew how strong this thing was, and it was really terrifying. However, the requirements were harsh, and even the Alliance didn't dare to use it too many times. Do you know that you almost died on the battlefield? Lin Wani scolded fiercely. He didn't want to talk nonsense with Lin Fan. He just wanted to find a key point to beat him up. The situation at that time was really too dangerous. Gang Xiong attacked with all his strength, causing him to break out in cold sweat. He thought that something was going to happen, but luckily, Brother Wu was strong enough and didn't fear Gang Xiong, who had already turned into a SH** T-Man. Only then did this unfilial kid survive. Lin Fan was really calm. I know, but I believe in my own strength. I definitely won't be killed by him. Bullshit. What's the use of your strength? Do you know how strong Gang Xiong is? Do you think he's the same as the other marshals? Lin Wani glared angrily. This brat was really confident. Was he getting cocky? If he left this place, he wouldn't even know how he died. Lin Fan said helplessly, Father, Can you have more confidence in me? Actually, I am really strong. The main thing is that with all of you around, I don't have much room to show off. I can only help out a little. Was that even a small help? He had completely attracted all the firepower. He forced an Alliance 9-star general to risk his life to kill him. What kind of infuriating thing did he do? But he could understand him. No matter who it was, they wouldn't be able to take it anymore. Okay, don't talk so much to me. Let me ask you, what realm did you cultivate the bug controlling technique to? Also, what level has your cultivation reached? Lin Wani asked. Damn it. What kind of fortuitous encounter did he have to have such strength at such a young age? If he hadn't personally witnessed it, he wouldn't have believed that such a thing could happen in the world. Lin Fan said, Father, I have cultivated the bug controlling technique to the highest realm, but it doesn't mean that it will remain the same forever. I realize that Insect Valley's secret technique is really terrifying. It actually becomes stronger according to one's own strength. Also the bugs, I noticed that the buffs from normal bugs are too weak. If I have a bug from Insect Valley that were specially raised, then the strength of the bug controlling technique would increase by several times. Wait, Lin Wani stopped him. I didn't ask you about the bug controlling technique. Be honest. But deep down he was shocked, like he didn't dare to believe it. He had interacted with Insect Valley before. Although he didn't cultivate the bug controlling technique, he knew that it was really tough. It was really tough to cultivate it to the highest realm. Do you think I'm a fool and you can bluff me like that? Lin Wani thought about it and still didn't dare to believe it. He felt that after this unfilial kid went out, he started to speak in a glib tone. He estimated it. Only 3 to 4 months had passed since this unfilial kid left U City. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it wasn't right. What a scumbag. You're treating me like an idiot. Insect Valley's top geniuses didn't dare to say that they could cultivate the bug controlling technique to the highest realm in a few years. This unfilial kid actually said that he could cultivate it to the highest realm. Who was he trying to slap in the face? Lin Fan was helpless. Father, this world lacks trust. I will tell you the truth. You said that I treated you like a fool, but no matter what, you can't scold yourself for being a fool. If you are a fool, then what am I? Little fool? There was nothing wrong with his words at all. It was a perfect question and answer. Lin Wani took in a deep breath and provided 66 rage points. He was furious. This unfilial kid went out and came back. He felt like he dared to go against him. Father and son going against each other was really fun. Io, this kid, it seemed like he really had to be beaten up. Father, what are you looking for? I will help you find it. Lin Fan felt that things weren't right, like something terrifying was about to happen. Lin Wani smiled. There is no need to find it this time. I have already prepared it before I came. Shwa. Lin Wani took out a bamboo stick and pulled it out. He was really aggressive, like something huge was about to happen. Father, what are you doing? I didn't do anything wrong, right? Lin Fan retreated slightly. His face was filled with panic. Was he going to use violence against him? Lin Wani laughed. It is natural for a father to beat his son. My hands are itchy, and I want to teach you a lesson. Don't run, stand on the spot, and don't move. Shwa. How could Lin Fan still listen to his father's words? He immediately slipped away as though there was oil on his feet. His speed was truly frightening. With his current strength, he was still able to deal some damage to his father. But he would be struck by lightning. This was why it was best if he left quickly. Young Master. Gozi looked at Young Master's back view and felt that it was better to be his servant. At least he wouldn't be beaten up. As for Young Master, he was often beaten up by Old Master. Old Master was someone who felt wronged. There weren't many people in the Lin family. Maybe apart from bullying Young Master, there was no one else he could bully. In the camp that was occupied by the U City experts, Lin Fan's exclamation spread out. Behind him was Lin Wani, who held a bamboo stick and was prepared to teach this unfilial kid a lesson. Zhu Shun held a machete and was a little sad. Such a good weapon had become like this. How tragic. What are the father and son doing? He didn't understand. Why was young Master Lin being beaten up for no reason? But he was used to it. This wasn't the first time young Master Lin was beaten up by old Master Lin. They had seen it many times in the past. Forget it. Everyone was used to it. The commotion this time was slightly bigger, and they chased after him all over the place. This kid is amazing. He is actually at Yang realm. Lin Wani muttered in his heart. He was filled with delight and pride. He really wanted to tell those bullsh *T aristocratic families in top sections. Compared to my son, your genius disciples aren't even worth a fart. When my son reaches my age, he will be able to obliterate all of you with a single finger. That night, Lin Fan dragged his exhausted body back. He felt that his father was really vicious, chasing him like that, and showing no signs of letting him go. Moreover, when he learned that he was at Yang realm, he didn't hesitate to attack. Damn, he just wanted to ask, what kind of father would do such a thing in public to actually be so violent? Wasn't he afraid of being laughed at? But when his father realized that the bamboo stick didn't do anything to his, but the way he looked at him was a little off. Lin Fan laughed in delight. Internal and external dual cultivation in Yang realm. What welcomed him was a series of beatings. It was like he was too outstanding, and his father felt like he lost face. He could only bully him when he was slightly weaker. Fun. Lin Fan smiled, and then started to cultivate. Although he dealt a heavy blow to the Alliance, this was far from the end. As long as the Alliance still existed, they would definitely rise again. Don't worry, Father, I won't let you die. Lin Fan was firm. Even if the Alliance was really strong, he wouldn't retreat. He would raise his strength to a level that others feared. Then, no one would dare to offend the people around him. His father might be strong to others, but to Lin Fan, he wasn't strong enough. For a true expert, as long as others heard of his name, they wouldn't dare to attack him. Moreover, the Alliance dared to provoke him several times. This was why he wanted to become someone that all Alliance experts would scram the moment they heard his name. He looked at his rage points. Kiki. So scary. True Heaven Body Secret Technique was only at grade 6. There was no need to talk about anything else. It directly rose to the peak. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.